At the Okoli Law Group, we specialize in producing justice. If you or a loved one in the Atlanta metro area is facing serious criminal charges, then you need serious legal representation.
The Okoli Law Group is here for you. The Okoli Law Group is here for us.
The Okoli Law Group, serious legal representation.
Yo, hold on. Let me make sure all the settings are right. There we go. Peace, fam. We are live again. Dynasty Mirror Search for Huru. Thank you all. Thank you so much for joining. Hit that like button again. Please hit that like button. Also, make sure you share and make sure you subscribe. I will greatly appreciate it. Got a couple of announcements before we get started. Announcement number one, Sierra Leone. Sierra Leone is back on. Again, Sierra Leone is back on. Citizenship is Sierra Leone. If you're interested in joining in Sierra Leone and getting your citizenship and you want to know the process, please visit donfall.africa. Please visit donfall.africa. When you guys reach out, when you go to donfall.africa, I'm going to pull the site up here in a second. You fill out the join the subscription list. Do me a favor, include your phone. You're going to include your phone number anyway, but I'm going to call. You're going to personally get a phone call from me. So I'm going to reach out. So you'll get a phone call from me, and you can ask all your questions and all that good stuff. So please visit donafo.africa to learn more. When you subscribe to the newsletter, and if you're watching this, and if you have not, no, there's no coup in Ivory Coast. I called my good friend who lives in Abidjan. He said there's no coup. So yeah, there's no coup in Ivory Coast. So yeah, that's not happening right now. I plan on going back to Ivory Coast hopefully in August. I miss Abidjan. My favorite restaurant in all of Africa, really in all of the world, is in Sierra Leone. Is in Abidjan, Ivory Coast, the Bushman cafe and hotel. So I'm gonna go there, stay a couple nights in August after our Nigeria trip. Yeah. So that's that is what is going on, y'all. So please visit donfo.africa to learn more. So we go to Senegal next week. We are heading to Senegal next week. I had a dream last night that I was already in Senegal, and I woke up and I was in my bed here in Atlanta. So next week, next Tuesday, we fly out to Senegal. I am looking forward to that. I cannot wait. Senegal has the best food in the world. So this is how it goes. This is how it works. Senegal has the best food in the world, but my favorite restaurant in the world is in Côte d'Ivoire, the Bushman Cafe and Hotel. And I'll pull it up here in a second. They should have a website. I'm usually on the Instagram. So yeah, so we go to Senegal next week. We're going to Nigeria for the Osun Festival in August 3rd to the 12th. Then we are rolling to Zanzibar in September for Safari Blue. Then we roll to where else are we going? Namibia and South Africa in November. And then we roll to Sierra Leone in December. So yeah, please visit donfall.africa to learn more. Let me pull this up real quick. Give me a second. Pull this up real quick. Bushman. I know they gotta have a website. They gotta have I guess they don't have hold on, let me go to their Hold on one second. Let me go to their. Okay, so this is their Instagram page. Yeah, they don't have a website, I guess. But hey, it's the bomb. It's the bomb. So so that's what's going on. Hit that like button. Make sure you share. Make sure you subscribe. A couple of disclaimers before we get started. This platform, we are for diversity in thought and different opinions. Let's be respectful. And the N-word tariff is on. If you say the N-word, it is a $10 fine. If you can't make a $10 fine, you got to drop off. So yeah. I've never been to Edo State, no. So yeah, so Trump never oh Lord. Ramaphosa. Yeah, Trump met with Ramaphosa today, and we're gonna get into the meeting. If you guys don't know, the controversy is the white South Africans, the Afrikaners, being afforded refugee status, preferred refugee status here in America. And some people are outraged over, the couple hundred or whatever. And maybe we'll say over the course of time, maybe a few thousand, maybe. Some people are outraged over them getting preferred treatment, but they don't have an issue with the millions coming from south of the border. So let's jump into the Trump invited. I think they're coming this week or next week. I know Africa Day is. I think the 25th is Africa Day. But I know there's supposed to be an Africa summit in DC with all the leaders and dignitaries are coming to DC. I know Ramaphosa is there, and Ramaphosa sat down with Trump, and we're gonna listen to part of this interview.
So
Commercial break.
Welcome to Conga Composer, the dynamic document generation software that allows you to create any business-critical documents anywhere, with data from everywhere. Automatically pull data from your customers and products, use your latest logos and branding, and create beautifully composed documents. Composer is simple to set up. Using our word-based editor, simply put in your document's text.
Thank you, Mr. President. So May 25th will be the celebration of Africa Day, which pretty much a lot of celebration will be taking place around the world, including here in the United States. What is your message to the entire African continent, African people in this important occasion?
Well, I want to see peace, and I want to see happiness. I want to see health, and you have incredible land. There's tremendous value. A lot of countries don't have that value in the land. The value you have. We have a situation. I think you probably heard about it. We've done through some very talented people, helped settle a war that's been raging for years, Rwanda and the Congo, and I think we've done it. Believe it or not, I think we've done it. And could you just say a few words about that, my friend?
Yes. A couple of weeks ago, the two parties signed a declaration of principles in which they agreed on the way forward. And they have both submitted their draft peace agreements. And
who said I had issue with black immigrants? Never said that. Let me let's turn my camera back on. Let me tell you where I stand when it comes to immigration. I believe immigrants should come to America, develop their skills, and go back and build up their countries. But you come legally, you become naturalized or whatever, and you say, you know what, Dynas, like a lot of my Nigerian friends, a lot of my Sierra Leonean friends, they said, Dynas, we ain't going back. We done with Nigeria. we done with Sierra Leone, we stand in America, that is your right. That's my stance on immigration. Come, get the skills, go back, develop your countries. But if you decide, or our country, speaking of Africa, develop our continent. But if you want to come and stay, that's your right. Okay.
We have put together one that incorporates both of their suggestions, and we've given it to them. So we're in the process of finalizing
Looking
this.
good, right?
Looking very good.
No, we have to thank you for even those efforts because the African continent, particularly SADC, our Southern African Development Community.
Let me stop right there. So Ramaphosa is thanking Trump for the role he's playing in bringing peace to the Congo. So that's what's going on right now. Ramaphosa is thanking Trump for the role that Trump is playing in peacekeeping in the Congo. And if you guys don't know, South Africa actually sent soldiers to the Congo, and they were slaughtered. So that's what they're talking about here. Okay, let's continue.
Has for years been seeking to foster peace in the Democratic Republic of the Congo. So all efforts, including those from outside the continent and inside the continent, are really worthwhile. We are removing our troops from there so that peace can then prevail in that whole area. And we hope that with the support of the international community, we will really have peace in that area. It's so vital, it's so important for the whole region.
Well, we sent our people there, and I think we did a very good job. I said it by my friend, and that was great. That was great. I mean, I'm just hearing phenomenal reports because all I'm hearing is death, and they're chopping heads off, and it's horrible over there. And it was really brave of you to go there, and I really appreciate it. And it looks like we have something very, very substantial. We also talked about trade with them in terms of rare earth and all, but really more for it's like if you take a look at what we just did with Pakistan and India, we settled that whole thing, and I think I settled it through trade. We're doing a big deal with India. We're doing a big deal with Pakistan, and I said, "What are you guys doing?" You know, somebody had to be the last one to shoot, but the shooting was getting worse and worse, bigger and bigger, deeper and deeper into the countries, and we spoke to them, and I think I hate to say we got it settled, and then 2 days later, something happens, and they say it's Trump's fault, but Pakistan has got some excellent people and some really great leader. And India is my friend, Modi. And he's a
mutual friend.
Yeah, he's a great guy. Mm-hmm. And I called them both, and we just did something good. We're trying to settle Russia, Ukraine.
Are you a full stack marketer spending all day switching between platforms? 1 minute it's SEO.
You spoke with President Putin for 2.5 hours the day before yesterday. I think we made a lot of progress, but that's a bloodbath. 5,000 people are being killed a week, 5,000 soldiers a week, not including people in cities and towns that are also being killed. So we're trying to help. And it doesn't affect us. It's not our people. It's not our soldiers. It's Ukraine and it's Russia. But if we can save 5,000 souls, we'll do it. We're pretty good at it. But that's a bad situation. That is a really bad situation.
Well, you'd recall when President Zelensky was coming to South Africa, that's when I spoke to you.
That's right.
We both agreed that we need to push the peace message so that there can really be peace. And we've been involved in the Ukraine-Russia conflict for quite a while. So my Minister of State Security here, we've been dealing with them, the exchange of children who were taken away, going through names and addresses and all that. So we've been invested in that whole process as well. And the moves that you're making are fully supported by us because we would like to see the end of that war.
It's true. I called Zelensky and they said, he's in South Africa. I said, what the hell is he doing in South Africa?
He was talking to us.
We got this from. That's a strange one. He said, what are you doing in South Africa?
Yes.
That's a strange one.
He's trying to make peace. Or we're taking him. You know, we were lucky because we had the great Nelson Mandela, who taught us how to create peace, to make peace. So we were imparting some of those lessons to him, some of those learnings. And I specifically mentioned to him that this is how Nelson Mandela taught us that when you want to have a peace in a country, do it on an unconditional basis and sit down and talk. And that's precisely what I'm sure he's going to heed.
Do I want to see what happens with that when it's there's a lot of hatred, there's a lot of death. It's a bloodbath.
It is.
I get
unfortunately.
I get the satellite pictures of that field, of that killing field. You never saw anything like it in your life. It's horrible. It's a horrible thing that goes on, but I think we've made big progress. Yeah, please, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. President.
No, not you. Right here. He's from South Africa. Go ahead, please.
What are you expecting on the ICJ case? Are you expecting South Africa to drop that? Is that what you're trying to do?
On which case?
The ICJ
The International
case is
Criminal Justice.
I don't expect anything, to be honest. I really don't. I don't know. It's they've got a case. There's a lot of anger there, tremendous anger. I don't expect anything. We'll see what happens. We'll have a ruling, and who knows what the ruling is going to mean. Yeah.
So I believe the cases he was referring to is South Africa currently has a case or brought up a case against Israel because of the genocide that's going on in Gaza. So that's what Trump was asked about, is the case that South Africa has against Israel at the ICC for the genocide that's going on in Gaza.
On that subject of Gaza, Mr. President, are you going to be speaking to Prime Minister Netanyahu about Israel's renewed defensive there? There's been a lot of concern from European countries. The Pope has expressed concern. Are you going to be asking Prime Minister Netanyahu to tone down the offensive in Gaza to let more aid in?
Was that a question or a statement?
It's a question.
This guy, you never change.
Mr. President, what will it take for you to be convinced that there's no white genocide in South Africa?
Well, I can answer that for the president. It's for him.
Here comes Trump. And guys, I'm watching this for the first time with you all. Fair use, Forbes, breaking news, fair use. So I'm watching this for the first time with you guys. And do me a favor, guys, hit the like button. If you have not hit the like button, Kotono, I'm going to get into that, what you're saying, your comment right here. The EFF are destroying Ramaphosa. I'm going to get into that later. But hit the like button again. Please hit that like button, you guys, if you have not hit the like button yet. All right, let's go.
No, seriously. I'd rather have him answer.
Yeah, I'd rather answer. It will be.
Our president will respond to you. Thank you, Mr. President.
It will take President Trump listening to the voices of South Africans, some of whom are his good friends, like those who are here. When we have talks between us on the quiet table, it will take President Trump to listen to them. I'm not going to be repeating what I've been saying. I would say if there was Afrikaner farmer genocide, I can bet you these three gentlemen would not be here, including my Minister of Agriculture. He would not be with me. So it will take him, President Trump, listening to their stories, to their perspective. That is the answer to your question.
But Mr. President, I must say that we have, wait. We have thousands of stories talking about it. Sure. And we have documentaries, we have news stories. And that, is Natalie here, somebody here to turn that? I could show you a couple of things, and it has to be responded to.
Yeah, sure.
Let me see the articles, please, if you would. And turn the lights down. Turn the lights down and just put this on. It's right behind you. Johan.
There's nothing this parliament can do with or without you people are going to occupy land. We require no permission from you, from the president, from no one. We don't care. We can do whatever you want to do. Who are you to tell us whether we can occupy land or not? We are going to occupy land. Yes. South Africa occupy land. That's who we are. We don't ever want to do. We can withdraw my membership from this useless parliament. Honorable. Yes, honorable member. Must never be scared to kill. A revolution demands that at some point there must be killing, because the killing is part of a revolutionary act. Shoot, kill, come on, sir.
Should I switch to Monday CRM? Updating this field is so confusing. This.
Kill the poor, the farmer. Kill the poor, the farmer.
All right, so what Trump is playing, and guys, you got to look at it from both sides, okay? You have Julius Malema, who is an elected official, all right, who is again an elected official in politics. You have the EFF, which is a party, a political party. And I guess Julius Malema is part of, isn't, I guess, the South African Congress, or whatever you want to call it, Parliament. He's an elected official. Again, y'all, you cannot be an elected official singing, as part of South African Parliament, singing "Kill the Boer." I'm sorry. I take that back. If you want to do it, you can do it. But all it does is just, it kind of supports Trump's case. Like, listen, you have this official singing it. Says who, Dynas? Okay, well, so we'll have the panel on here shortly. But all I know is, if the Republican Party were singing anything similar, targeting Black people, y'all would be outraged. But let's continue.
The man of TJPE is a white man. So these people, when you want to hit them hard, go after a white man. They feel a terrible pain because you have touched a white man. Not because Pashava and Suni will not be touched. They will be touched, no one. But we are starting with this whiteness. We are cutting the throat of whiteness. Shoot, kill, Yamasa, kill the brewer, the farmer, kill the brewer, the farmer. Shoot to kill, Yamasa, kill the brewer, the farmer, kill the brewer, the farmer. I don't know what's going to happen in the future. I'm saying to you, was not called for the killing of white people, at least for now. I can't ever see the future. And you understand somebody watching that, especially as it gets shared on Twitter, they freak out. It sounds like a genocide over who will expropriate land without compensation, whether they like it or not. If they object, they can seek a refugee in America.
Now, this is very bad. These are burial sites right here. Burial sites, over 1,000 of white farmers, and those cars are lined up to pay love on a Sunday morning. Each one of those white things you see is a cross, and there's approximately 1,000 of them. They're all white farmers, the family of white farmers. And those cars aren't driving, they're stopped there to pay respects to their family member who was killed. And it's a terrible sight. I've never seen anything like it. Both sides of the road, you have crosses.
This week, we're hosting a free trading and investing workshop right here in Atlanta. Inside this
Those people were all killed.
Have they told you where that is, Mr. President? No, I'd like to know where that is, because this I've never seen. But, okay.
I mean, it's in South Africa. That's where.
We need to find out.
Those people.
Okay.
Mr. President, the Pentagon announced it would be accepting a Qatari jet to be used as Air Force One.
What are you talking about? What are you talking about? You know, you gotta get out of here. What does this have to do with the Qatari jet? They're giving the United States Air Force a jet, okay? And it's a great thing. We're talking about a lot of other things. It's NBC trying to get off the subject of what you just saw. You are a real, you're a terrible reporter. Number one, you don't have what it takes to be a reporter. You're not smart enough. But for you to go into a subject about a jet that was given to the United States Air Force, which is a very nice thing. They also gave $5.1 trillion worth of investment in addition to the jet. Go back, you ought to go back to your studio at NBC, because Brian Roberts and the people that run that place, they ought to be investigated. They are so terrible the way you run that network, and you're a disgrace. No more questions from you. Go ahead. Go ahead, talk about that. His name is Peter something. He's a terrible reporter. Quiet. Let's go.
Thank you so much. President Trump, and it's also from EMCA in South Africa. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
What would you like President Ramaphosa to do about the situation that we've just seen on the screen?
I don't know. Look, these are articles over the last few days. Death of people. Death. Horrible death. Death. I don't know. To pick anyone, white South Africans are fleeing because of the violence and racist laws. And this is all, I mean, I'll give these to you. So when you say, what would I like to do? I don't know what to do. Look at this. White South African couple say that they were attacked violently. And
President Trump, when will you go and see for yourself if it is?
well, I could do that. Look, here's burial sites all over the place. These are all white farmers that are being buried. And he asks about a jet that was given. You ought to be ashamed of yourself. You know, you are so bad. You're such a bad reporter. This is one after another. This family was wiped out. I'm just looking.
Can we get a report from President Ramaphosa?
Give us your reaction to those videos, Mr.
President Trump,
Well, I think the videos are so. No. When you look at the videos, I mean, how does it get worse? And these are people that are officials, and they're saying that kill the white farmer and take their land. That's what. And I have other friends in South Africa. I have people that left, one in particular that says you can't go there. He said they want to take your land, and they kill you. It's okay, and they say it's okay to do. Now, we're going to talk about it, but this is a tremendous, look, this is a story recent. These are all people that recently got killed.
Yeah.
And I don't know how it can get any worse. These are, and you know, the men that you saw, the people that you saw in that movie, those are officials. Those are people that were in office. They had one march, they had a dance in your parliament, whatever you may call it, legislature.
But let me clarify that.
Yeah.
Let me clarify that, because what you saw, the speeches that were being made, one, that is not government policy. We have a multi-party democracy in South Africa that allows people to express themselves, political parties to adhere to various policies, and in many cases, or in some cases, those policies do not go along with government policy. Our government policy is completely against what he was saying, even in the parliament.
Thanks to Restore, primetime is back. This is my time. I didn't want to be bold.
And they're a small minority party, which is allowed to exist in terms of our constitution.
But you do allow them to take land.
No.
You do allow them to take land.
Nobody can
and then
take
when
land.
they take the land, they kill the white farmer. And when they kill the white farmer, nothing happens to them.
No,
nothing happens to them.
There is criminality in our country. People who do get killed, unfortunately, through criminal activity, are not only white people. Majority of them are black people. And we have now been utilized.
Hey, Ramaphosa went full. What about the black on black crime? Ramaphosa went full. What about the black on black crime? Hold on, let's go back. Let's go back.
And when they kill the white farmer, nothing happens to them.
No,
nothing happens to them.
There is criminality in our country. People who do get killed, unfortunately, through criminal activity, are not only white people. Majority of them are black people. And we have now been utilized.
The farmers are not black. I don't
now
say that's good or bad, but the farmers are not black. And the people that are being killed in large numbers, and you saw all those grave sites, and those are people that loved ones going, I guess on a Sunday morning, they told me, to pay respect to their loved ones that were killed. Their heads chopped off. They died violently. And, you know, I mean, we're here to talk about it, and I didn't know we'd get involved here. But I will say this, that if the news wasn't fake, like NBC, which is fake news, totally, one of the worst, ABC, NBC, CBS, horrible. But if they weren't fake news like this jerk that we have here, if we had real reporters, they'd be covering it. But the fake news in this country doesn't talk about that. They don't want to talk about it, but now they have to talk about it. But they won't. This won't even be a subject. They'll have him talking about why did a country give a free, think of this. Why did a country give an airplane to the United States Air Force? Okay, the United States, not to me, to the United States Air Force, so they could help us out, because we need an Air Force One until that's Air Force One, it's being built. 2 of them being built. But Boeing's a little bit late, unfortunately. So why did they give us a plane to the United States Air Force? That's what that idiot talks about after viewing a thing where thousands of people are dead.
I'm sorry, I don't have a plane to give you.
I wish you did. I take it. I would take it. If your country offered the United States Air Force a plane, I would take it.
Okay. But coming back to this issue, which I really would like us to talk about, and talk about it very calmly. We were taught by Nelson Mandela that whenever there are problems, people need to sit down around a table and talk about them.
Well, there are
and this is precisely what we would also like to talk about, including, of course, trade matters, investment matters. So the issues that concern you as the United States.
Those are all racist. Those are all deaths.
Yeah, in many ways, I mean, one should say you are a partner of South Africa, and you are raising concerns, and these are concerns that we are willing to talk to you about. Let me just add quickly, you know, the criminality that we are experiencing in our country needs quite a lot of technological capability. And in one of our areas in South Africa, we're using US technology, which is able to, in many ways, identify where shootings are happening and all that. And I'd like to talk about that because there is support that we can get from you as the United States to help us deal with all these acts of criminality. And that is what I believe partnership is all about. And we are here as a partner so that we can help each other whenever there are challenges. So I'd like us to discuss it, and of course, outside of the media, so that we sit down and have a really good discussion that will lead to good outcomes.
Are there any other punitive measures that could be in place should you not be satisfied that South Africa is fixing some of the very bad things, in inverted commas, that you tweeted are happening?
Well, there are a lot of bad things happening in many countries, but this in particular has been very, very bad, very bad. And because of we're going to have the whole world watching in another short period of time because you have the G20, and that's a big deal. And it seems like, I mean, I want you to look good. I don't want you to look bad.
Very good.
But we have hundreds of people, thousands of people trying to come into our country because they feel they're going to be killed and their land is going to be confiscated. And you do have laws that were passed that gives you the right to confiscate land for no payment. You can take away land for no payment.
I want to clarify that because we have a constitution. Our constitution guarantees and protects the sanctity of tenure of land ownership. And that constitution protects all South Africans with regard to land ownership. However, we do say, because we've got to deal with the past, the government, and as your government also has the right to expropriate land for public use.
And you're doing that.
And we've never really gotten underway with that. And we are going to be doing so.
You're taking people's land away.
We have not.
From them. And those people, in many cases, are being executed. Yeah. They're being executed. And they happen to be white, and most of them happen to be farmers. Mm-hmm. And that's a tough situation. I don't know how you explain that. How do you explain that? They're taking people's land away, and in many cases, those people are being executed. And in many cases, it's not the government that's doing it. It's people that kill them and then take their land, and nothing happens to them. But we have thousands of people that want to come into our country. They're also going to Australia.
All right, guys, I'm going to put the link in the chat room. If you want to call in after the convo, you're more than welcome to call in and add to the convo. Again, link is in the chat room. Click on the link and you can give your feedback on the meeting with Ramaphosa and Trump. So link is in the chat room. Yeah, it was, it was interesting. Go ahead, Wildflower.
Hi, Dynasty. I hope you're well. Yeah, that was interesting to watch. Oh my God, it's just like, I feel like he was ambushed and there was so much cringe going on. The watching of the videos, the printouts. Oh my God. And it's just, yeah, I really felt bad for the President Ramaphosa. He tried to stay calm and collected, and he didn't want to be a bad guest, I guess. He didn't want to, because I thought if I was there, I would have just told him, listen, people have a right to express their opinions. There's freedom of speech in South Africa. So if people are saying things that are so wild and offensive, that's just part and parcel of a freedom of speech. People are going to say things that's offensive.
Yeah, but this is Elected
Huh?
official. He's an elected official, which makes it a little more different.
But that was before he became an elected official. You know,
No,
when
no. Your boy, what's his name? Malema.
Julius Malema.
Yeah, he was doing that while he was elected official.
Yeah, but the song is not controversial. It went through the courts. It's an apartheid song. You know,
Okay.
there's nothing wrong with the song because the white nationalists, they took Julius Malema and them lot to court about that song, that is inciting violence, and the Supreme Court said it wasn't. It's just a song that was sung during the apartheid era. And as under freedom of speech, you are allowed to write offensive lyrics, especially in music. There was a recent case in the UK where one of the Irish bands, they were like, you know, if you delete a conservative MP in one of their concerts, and people were like, oh my God, how dare they say all these offensive things, inciting violence against elected members of parliament. But when you're an artist, you can say inflammable things that seem so wild, because there is these things where there is freedom of expression in an artistic way, especially if it's a song. So it's really quite complex. But I definitely feel like Donald Trump is more concerned about the white lives being lost. I mean, there's kids being killed right now in Palestine, hundreds being blown apart. He doesn't seem to be that concerned because he could make a phone call to Netanyahu and have all that stopped. But this is more like a propaganda trying to create white victimhood. You know, white people are being victimized, poor us, we're being replaced. It's all and it just makes South Africa look bad. And I think the president didn't do enough to correct him. I think he just wanted to be polite and not to really rock the boat, because he's come for some trade deals. And Donald Trump is a very thin-skinned person, so you can't really like tell him and read him read him to the filth. You just have to smile and be calm. But it wasn't a good look for South Africa, and it was hard to watch. Honestly, it was just pure cringe.
All right, let me pass it to Alan. Go ahead, Alan.
Yeah, I mean, we all know what this is about. Donald Trump could find several true genocides that everyone agrees is genocide, just on the African continent alone. He's interested in this because he wants to make, like the previous guest said, wants to highlight white victimhood and black racism, and he wants to ultimately move a bunch of these people over to the United States. Those are the good, quote unquote, good refugees that he wants to take in. So it doesn't have anything to do with the urgency of what's going on. It has to do with what Donald Trump wants and his agenda. And quite frankly, he's pan European. He wants white people to have presidents, and the way they look at it is, if white people are not running things, or are not in charge, then it's unfair. And so that's what you're looking at. As far as Malema is concerned, I used to be a supporter of Malema because he'd make good speeches and stuff like that. But ultimately, he's not somebody who's going to get anything really done in South Africa. So I've kind of come off that support, and what he's done is pretty much humiliated the country in leading some of these things with a minority party. What Americans need to understand is that in a parliamentary system, you can have multiple parties inside your parliament. It's not like the United States where you have the pick of one of two. And so his party, the Economic Freedom Fighters, is a tiny party that is not really it's not the equivalent as if a Republican were doing this sort of thing. So when you made that comparison earlier, I thought that was kind of a false equivalency, because it's not quite the same.
All right, go ahead, Kofi.
Yeah, I think we're living in the times where you could make a video using AI, and you could politically convince a president from the West to fund a war against a up and coming nation that's a part of BRICS. And I think that's what Trump has seen. He saw a video and he mistaken it for genocide. And I feel like the South African government, they should know better and do an investigation way before they come to the table to talk to Trump and refute those claims, in which he didn't. So now they're even looking more like a third world country, like as expected. And I think this is propaganda. I think there's a bigger play at hand. You know, Elon Musk and Trump, they're like best friends, they're buddies. So trying to kind of trying to disrupt a central banking system by BRICS and breaking that shit up. That's why this is happening. And I think if people like Julius Malema, if they're going to confiscate land because of the history there, I think they should stand on it. And I think Ramaphosa should also stand on it. But I just don't believe it, because I don't see white South Africans just being genocided without putting up a fight. They got the most guns. They have a lot of money. I see them hiring other black people to help them fight against Julius Malema and whoever is anti-white farmer. I just don't see this happening. Now, if you go throughout the shop rights all throughout Africa, one of which in Ghana, that's a South African chain. I don't see other countries allowing this such violence. And I just think it's fake news. I think it's propaganda. I think Ramaphosa is going along with it. He's a very soft president. Courier would have never have even met with Trump to have such a foolish discussion. If Julius Malema says this is the goal of the South African, then they shouldn't run from that, because similar things happen all throughout Africa. It happens in Sudan. It happens in the Congo. It happened in Liberia. Most of the governments are overthrown due to ethnic violence over claims that this ethnic group suppressed us in some way. So now we have to take back the government. Well, that government that turns into the rebel force, well, they're always surprisingly backed by the West. They're always surprisingly backed by the CIA. And I believe this is the same play at the end of the day.
All right, go ahead, Afro Man.
Yes, hello. Good evening, good afternoon, peace, everyone. I think Ramaphosa behaved like a good Negro. I didn't say the N-word, I said Negro. Okay. He knew that one of the major issues that would be discussed with Trump was the so-called white genocide. And yet Ramaphosa came there totally and completely unprepared. How would you allow a foreigner, a president of another country, to tell you what is happening in your country and you don't have a prepared response to counter what this person is saying? Okay? How are you going to even throw your own citizen under the bus? He threw Malema under the bus. He's your citizen. Okay? At least what you should say is that he's a citizen of South Africa, and there are many issues that you agree with Malema, and there are some issues that you disagree with Malema. But you don't completely take him and throw him under the bus just to please Trump. Then on the issue of the speech of Malema, the song "Kill the Boer," okay? Now let's look at it. Here is the South African president sitting in the Oval Office, where a plethora of members of the US Congress, of the Senate, governors, mayors, police chiefs, even Supreme Court justices and lower court justices, some of whom are well documented to be members of the KKK. Let's not play around. We know them. Some of them are hiding, and some of them have actually come out to throw their support or to let people know that they are members of the KKK. Nobody has a problem with that. But somebody singing "Kill the Boer" all of a
Right.
sudden.
So Alpha Man, what should have happened is that African countries should have placed sanctions on the U.S., but they didn't.
No, I mean,
hold on. African countries should have gave refugee status to Black Americans, but they didn't.
Well, I mean, at the time where the civil rights was happening, okay, how many countries in Africa were even independent apart from, say, Ghana? Okay.
Well, even after that, but that's why I just think yes, there's a history of, yeah, it is well documented. In fact, there was a screening of what was the name of that movie? Oh, come on, Diamonds. What's the name of that KKK movie? It was a screening at the White House.
Birth of a Nation.
Birth of a Nation. Right. But what I'm saying is, even after, I mean, you had Strom Thurmond, you had
Birth of a Nation.
Right. You had Strom Thurmond. You had white supremacists even after and during. In fact, Joe Biden was hanging out with them and Hillary Clinton.
Exactly.
Right. And what I'm saying is then the African government should have said, hey, we're gonna put sanctions on the US, but they chose not to.
Well, I mean, I can't hold brief for the African president at that time. We all know that many of them are stooges, just like how Ramaphosa appeared today, a complete stooge. Okay, for example, okay, he should have come prepared. If CNN can fact check the claim against white genocide, how come the president of South Africa can't? Right now, CNN has presented a fact-checked article, okay, correcting the claim. Between April 24th, April of last year and December of last year, a period of about 7-8 months, okay, 19,600 murders occurred in South Africa. Guess how many involved farmers? Only 36. 36. That is less than 0.2% of the total number. This is something that CNN came up with. Why couldn't the president of South Africa, okay, get these facts presented there? Why would he? See, there are a number of issues, and I will just say this, and I will hand over the mic to somebody else. But you see, what you didn't show in your video, okay, there's another part of the video of their meeting where Ramaphosa says, okay, you are the president of a very big economy and we are a tiny economy. Like, you don't speak like that as a president. You never minimize your own country while at the same time bigging up somebody else's country. Okay, these are certain things that we as Africans have to learn. You are the president of South Africa, and you speak as if South Africa is the standard. You don't go there as if you are a little mouse and you are coming to beg Donald Trump for anything. I don't even see why. Okay, the AU should be the one even meeting with the US and these big countries. It should be the AU that is meeting on behalf of Africa. I understand there are certain specifics that countries might deal with, and so you might want to have the president of the country. But the AU, I think we should get into the habit of having the AU, the African Union, meet with the US. So you don't have, Russia meeting with Africa, and then you have 54 countries there meeting with Russia. You have 54 countries meeting with India. These are all individual countries. You should meet as the AU. And I know that there was a plan for that. I don't know why somehow they put that on the back burner. But it's a time for us now to start thinking critically about how we present and represent ourselves on the world stage. To me, this was a complete disgrace. I think whoever advised him to meet with Trump didn't do their homework well. They knew that the major issue was the so-called white genocide, and they dropped the ball on this one big time, if you ask me. I pass the mic.
Let me pass the mic to City. Go ahead, City.
Hey, Dennis.
Hey, man.
Yeah. So I think Ramaphosa handled it very professionally. He's a very good negotiator. He handled himself like a real diplomat. He knows very well Donald Trump. He was able to study Trump. You cannot come to America to fight Trump. He studied him very well. He handled himself properly. He was able to send his message across. He came with agricultural secretary and said, well, there's no genocide in South Africa. He brought his billionaire friends that are South African. He came with another best golf player in the world. You cannot fight America. This is the fact. If you remember when the British Prime Minister came, he was even down to earth than Ramaphosa. When German Chancellor came to meet Trump, he was down to earth. Ramaphosa came for business. He was able to send a message across that there's no genocide in South Africa. And at the same time, he was able to try to negotiate a trade deal. The G20 summit that we're going to have in South Africa, without America, there's no G summit. First of all, America was the one that started it. They have 600 American corporations in South Africa. America is benefiting from America. Let me tell you this. America is the most powerful country in the world. This guy who's speaking, the Ghanaian guy that is just spoke, America just gave them military equipment. Why you don't tell John Mahama to return those military equipment? It just happened like 2 weeks ago, right? And Daniel said something that the benefit that the Ghanaians have benefited from African Americans. All African Americans should get citizenship from Ghana for the fact that they have invested a lot in Ghana, and Ghana is not going anywhere. If they were to invest, the investment they have done in Ghana, if they were to do that in Burkina Faso or in Ivory Coast, I think all of them will get automatic citizenship. There's a Ghana who claimed to be a Pan-African country. They're just giving citizenship to white people. Bunch of white people, bunch of Lebanese, bunch of Turkish. So
that's false.
Was handling himself properly. He was very professional. He's one of the best negotiators in Africa. Everybody knows that. And at the end of the day, he established it to show that there is no genocide in South Africa. There's a killing, yeah, of course. There's a terrible violence in South Africa. We all know that very well when you visit. But to show that there's a genocide, you have to prove it. And he proved it that it's not. There's no genocide in South Africa. And I think he handled it properly. And he's going to get the economy benefit. You cannot fight America. Everything that we're talking about right now, when they're ready today, they can bring Malema here. There's no way you can fight this country. That's the fact. I'm an African. I know very well. We have to know our limit. So that's what I have to say. But thank you.
All right, go ahead. See Ghana. Go ahead. Unmute yourself.
Yeah, I'm driving. Yeah, but I agree with the old boy that just spoke before, my man that just spoke just now. I think the president of South Africa, Ramaphosa, made a fool of himself. I think that was disgraceful display of leadership. I mean, there is a genocide going on in South Africa, but it's on black people. That's presently today. If you look under the Nuremberg laws, understanding of what a genocide is, that would be going on in South Africa, and it would also be going on in the United States of America on black people in the United States of America. Ramaphosa should have brought that up.
No, he should have brought up black on black crime.
No, I said the genocide in United States of America. That's
That's
with white people on. That's with white people and black people.
you
I know
said
you're
you
going to
said you
defend
said
like a white person. I know you're
you
about to
said I'm
interrupt
not,
me.
but I just want to get clarity. So there's a
Yes,
genocide on black people in America by at the hands of who?
at the hands of white people. Do you understand what genocide is? Do you understand the laws of what
Oh,
make up genocide? Are you familiar with
Systemic
them?
oppression,
Are you
basically.
are you
Okay.
familiar with them? Since you're asking me, are you familiar with what genocide is?
Where's this genocide? Where's this genocide at? I live in America. Where's it at?
It's in United States of America
But
on
where?
black
Like,
people. On black
right,
people. Where?
black people killing black people.
No, not on black people killing black people. I mean, you could
The
do that
vast
in Europe and
majority
say
of black
Europeans are
deaths in the
killing
United
Europeans.
States are
You could say
abortions.
Chinese are killing Chinese. No, but that's not what
Right,
I'm talking about.
I
exactly.
What
can
I'm
read
talking
out
about.
what genocide means.
So
I've got it here.
all right. So here comes the interruptions. We were doing so great. What's going on?
I'm just trying
Is
to
it
get
cognitive
clarity.
dissonance going on? What's going on now? All of a sudden,
I'm just trying to get clarity.
the show is the show. You're the host. You're the host. I thought you were a mediator.
I'm
I
just
thought
trying to
you
get.
were a
Oh
mediator. You
Lord,
sound like a Trump representative right now. You
I'm just
sound
trying to
like
get
you're countering
clarity.
me. Are you
I'm just,
countering me?
I'm just
Are
trying
you
to get clarity.
interrupting? Are you interrupting?
Nah, I can't do it. I can't do it.
No,
Go
there's
ahead.
no genocide in America. No genocide.
Yeah, I can't do it. Go ahead, Bang. Go ahead, Bang. Go
The
ahead.
only genocide in America is abortion.
Yeah, go ahead, Bang. Mute yourself, Bang. Bang.
Oh, I'll pass. Man, I'll pass, man. Let somebody else talk.
Can I speak?
So why do you come on the panel if you want to pass?
Can,
Go ahead, Wild Card. I'm passing the L.
can I speak? The gentleman was talking about what the legal term is, what genocide means.
Right, and
So
I'm trying to get that out of him, but you started yelling and spazzing out. But go ahead, Wild Card.
it's basically, it says genocide refers to certain acts committed with the intent to destroy in whole or in part a national, ethnic, racial, or religious group. So you could say that the way America treats white America, the way they treat Black Americans, there's an intent. They use systems to destroy Black people. And this is what's happening in South Africa towards Black people. There is an intent. You can prove that the systems they put in place is to ensure that Black people don't reproduce, that we continue killing each other.
That in 2025, that's not happening. It's
I
black
think
on black.
it's happening. It's
Black
happening
on
because they
black.
do it covertly. They do it
It's black on
covertly
black. It's black
by
on black.
making
I have a point to that.
It's
Was
black on
family
black.
planning deliberately targeted towards Black people in America? Family
Okay,
planning.
but Afro Man, and I'll use myself as an example. I've participated in a couple abortions. The white man didn't force me to do that. That was me being greedy.
Yep.
I mean, come on.
No. I understand that, but we do know that there were certain forced sterilization programs in place.
Right. The Tuskegee experiment. I agree, but I'm talking about 2025.
Okay.
Everyone thinks genocide has to be like upscale killing, but it can be done
let's be
slowly.
honest.
It can be done slowly.
Yo, some of us have been spoken. We've been waiting our turn.
All right, go ahead, L. Let me pass the L.
Okay, so the first thing I want to say is, sure, the underlining pinnings is that crime is an issue in the United States, and black on black crime is a big issue, but the largest killer of Black people is abortion. And the reason why I say that is because the causal fact is that the government has budgets in our system that promote abortion, specifically in Black American communities, as a way to combat crime. So that's why I think it's an issue and it's a huge problem. And the other thing too, systemically,
but everybody that's pushing, even if you look up the origins of Planet Parenthood or whatever it's called, Margaret Sanger, and I didn't know this. She got with our Black leadership, like Booker T. Washington and whatnot, and they helped her advance that. And it's still the case today. So there were Black people.
But you gotta look at those people.
They were Black
Booker
people.
T. Washington was raised by a white family who castrated him. So I wouldn't really, take anything he does too seriously, other than the science stuff. because you could be good at science and still be bad at like politics. But what
You're talking about George Washington Carver. Booker T.
Oh,
Washington
George,
was
okay, my bad, wrong person, my bad. I'm sorry. Shit. But essentially, what I'm trying to say is abortion is the number one killer. And then when you look at black on black violence and you look at actual solutions, people like to say it's all about culture. It's all about culture. But if the culture changed, that would only account for 10% of the violence being reduced. The vast majority of the violence is due to socioeconomic issues. And 50% of crime will be gone if like a lot of people were moved out of poverty and moved out of these food shortage places and are having kids that are having hormone imbalances because they can't provide a good diet for their children. So, I mean, there's a lot going on in the underlining that causes these reactions, and we don't do enough research in America to really look at these social psychological phenomena that can come from these type of systems. And that's the problem. Statistics, they only show you what you want to see. Like if you look at South Africa, it's easy for Trump to be like, oh, the Boers are being genocided, blah, 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 blah. But South Africa doesn't take race statistics. And if you look at any studies on South Africa, it shows that the vast majority of crime is committed within community. So that just debunks the whole genocide thing.
All right, let me pass it to Elvis. Let me pass it to Elvis.
Sorry.
Go ahead, Elvis.
All right. Thank you, Diners, and hello to the panel in the chat. Look, I think Ramaphosa handled himself well. I think, people who are in the foreign service, they know that negotiation, happen in the corridors of power behind the scenes. Not when they do these little tete-a-tete. That's not when, real dialogue happen. I know we've become so militant as Africans, and what Traore represented, I think that's why a lot of people gravitate towards him because he's a military guy, and they think he's strong, and they think that's what that shows that we can be defiant in the face of the West or the white man. But Ramaphosa is a very wealthy man. He knows how to negotiate. He knows how to control his temper. He knows how to be shrewd. So he's not going to come in and give you his full hand. What's going on in South Africa? We've all criticized the South Africans for allowing these white people to dominate them, take most of the land, give them a small piece of their economy. But there are people who are standing up. Most of us who call ourselves Pan-Africans and who call ourselves black nationalists or black militant, we want the South Africans to take the land back. We want them to take their birthright through through their sweat and through their blood. So let's not come on here and act like we're against
Yeah,
this
your mama
platform.
phone got you, Elvis. Go ahead.
Yeah, you guys will cry on this platform when we bring up the Tulsa, race riot, when we talk about white people burning down black towns, taking away their lands, killing them, taking away their economic might. We've seen it in this country. Black Americans have suffered at the hands of white people because of jealousy. We've seen it. And Didas, as a black man, a black American, you should be speaking up against it. I know you agree with Trump politically. That's fine. But when you experience buffoonery in support of Donald Trump and trying to say that Trump is right, trying to humiliate a black leader, I disagree with that point. And I think that the president of South Africa is a diplomat, handled himself well, and I think he said it right too. America is the most powerful country. It's not about Trump. It's not about Trump. America is bigger than Trump. He's going to be gone in 4 years, and America will still have a relationship with South Africa. The economy are intertwined. He's a smart businessman. He's not going to come in and say the stupid things that most militant Africans will want him to say. He's going to do what he's doing in this country to better his country and to strengthen his relationship with Russia and the BRIC nations to give this country a better economic stand on the global stage. So let's not be naive. And I know, the best thing would tell Trump to go to hell. We don't care about what you think. There's no white genocide. That's why all of us will be clapping. But that will be detrimental to this country, economic health and military security. So I just want to come on and give those points, Donis. I'll pass the mic.
All right, go ahead, Negus.
Oh, hey, what's up, Doc? Yeah. There's a lot going on. But yeah.
Hey, you got a lot of back. Like you're on your Obama phone. You're on your Obama phone. That's all.
I am.
Yeah.
I'm so bad.
Like just talking to the phone. Get off a speaker. Just talk directly into the phone. You're on a headset. Get off your headset. Yeah, you're on your.
Okay,
Obama
is that better?
There you go. Perfect. Go ahead.
Okay, yeah, so a lot going on, but this all started because South Africa launched that genocide claim against Israel, and there's like a lot of like Zionist Jews are like trying to get back at South Africa because of that. So that's why Donald Trump like made his attack against South Africa, this white genocide thing, and so that's why they brought up that case with the ICJ. But that being said, I don't think Cyril is like a really good leader. Like I kind of agree with Ellis on this. I'm not saying he should be like a militant like Julius Malema. I'm saying like he should have never gone in this meeting in the first place because it's not gonna. Trump believes that there's a white genocide going on, and there's nothing you can do to stop that. So he shouldn't have gone this meeting in the first place. Like it was just he should have just done whatever he could just to decouple from America because again he brought all these white people with him. Sarah he brought Rupenheimer, some other white guy. He couldn't speak to Trump. He had to bring other white people to validate him, as if he's not the president. He brought this other guy in who's not the president, so as if he's the president. So I always feel like the ANC is just a weak party, and like the Cyril Ramaphosa is weak. Like Jacob Zuma was just not a good like the more presidents coming in, they're not really good heads of state of South Africa. I wouldn't know what other South Africans think of the ANC, but I just don't think the ANC and Cyril Ramaphosa just aren't good at handling this whole situation as a whole. Like I do believe in the land getting back, but I don't think Julius Malema is like is good is like Ibn Traore didn't make a bunch of song and dances saying he's gonna go overthrow the government. He just overthrew the government. Julius Malema is not about to do any of the stuff he's saying, so why is he even saying it? That's pretty much my biggest criticism of Julius Malema.
Go
Anyone
ahead.
else?
Go ahead, Ali. Unmute yourself, Ali.
Yeah, hi. I think I agree with Elvis and Negas on the Ramaphosa visit. So he should have known Trump would bring up the genocide in quotes on the white farmers. That would be top on Trump's list. So he could have given a stronger argument when Trump brought up the matter. And I saw a part of the video where he was asking Trump when Trump was showing the video of the mass burial sites, and he was like, I think he was asking Trump something like, is that a video from South Africa or something like that? So you shouldn't be asking that. I mean, you should have is it the Minister of Defense or the people in government, in your government, who can give you, your security advisor, your national security advisor, who would have briefed you on all of the information regarding that issue. And so if anything anybody else brings up, you should emphatically say, no, this is not from South Africa. You have the wrong information. You should, even if you're not right, you should show that leadership that you know what you're doing. So on that, he didn't handle it well. But on the other parts, Trump easily gets ticked off. So I think Ramaphosa kind of just try to handle Trump's temperament, not to end up like Zelensky. So, I mean, he still needs help from Trump, either ways we look at it. So he had to be diplomatic in that way. And then for the bigger issue for me is when are we going to stop blaming white people for the failures of the black race as a whole? I'm sorry, I may be wrong, but that's how I've always had this opinion.
No, you're not wrong, Ali. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. I'm proud of it.
I feel like, look, we're all human beings.
Are you South African?
No, I'm from Nigeria. Right? I just feel like, it's just my opinion. I may be wrong, so forgive me, but I can't just help it. Like, we need to get our acts together. It's about time we stop blaming white people for whatever. They can't, if you say, oh, I heard through, and I try to listen to everything that's happening in America. I'm not from there. So when, African Americans speak about the challenges they're having, the, racism and all of that, I really listen well because I need to be informed before I open my mouth, So I still feel like, these white people have a systematic way of trying to reduce our population, increase the crime rate so you can have more black men in prison and all of that. If we know they're trying to put all this systematic things in place to, at the disadvantage of the black man. Why aren't we thinking out of the box or trying to save ourselves from that or pull away from that? Because we can't keep waiting or blaming everything on the white folks. Now, in America, that same America, I know there are foreign people, there are immigrants who come to America and make a life for themselves. They get educated, they don't get in the way of crime. So where's the issue coming from? Why do we have so many black men in prison? I think we should take our destiny back in our hands. Why is, okay, you said the abortion, they're promoting the abortion in the black communities. Why are the black people taking the abortion, whatever they're taking from the white people? Why are they taking those grants, or, sorry, is it, what do I call it now? I don't know. Maybe they're making abortion medicine very cheap. Why are you taking that? Black people are not the only people in America. So if we need to just get out of this and come together as a people.
It's victimhood. All right, we just love to be the victim. It's victimhood.
I just feel like
we're professional, especially on the left. They are professional.
And I've interacted with a lot of African Americans, very brilliant people, very hardworking people, very, very brilliant people, and I'm like, where's the missing link? Why are we still under the oppression of the white people? Why do we let them exploit us in their way that they do? I mean, we have our own brain. Let's think out of the box and see how we can help.
Can I respond? Because this is a lot of nonsense.
No, I'm gonna let her talk. I'm gonna pass it to Shaw. Go ahead, Ali.
Me?
No, Ali, you done? I'm gonna pass it to you, Shaw. You done?
I'm done. Thank you. Yeah.
All right, go ahead, Shaw.
Okay, so it's our own fault that we are proportionate to the population, the most people in prisons.
Yep.
And the most.
Yep, it is. Yep.
It's our fault because we did the crime. Nobody made us smoke crack.
Yep.
Nobody. And then we can go beyond that. It's our fault that slavery took place because we were sold our own people into slavery.
Right.
Let's go there.
I agree with that.
So all of our problems since, we can go back to even further than that, but let's start with slavery. Colonization and the aftermath of colonization is all our fault. Of course, I'm being facetious, and I don't really believe that. But if you take the argument that it is our fault primarily, then you would kind of follow that line of thought all the way back in history to that point I was given. Security Council, the African Union Peace and Security Council 3 years ago determined the outcomes of the Security Council that was held in Kigali. Keynote speakers was Musa Faki, Brian Kogromo, I didn't say his name right, and PLO Lumumba. They were the head speakers, but the generals and the military that was there broke off. I'm sure it broke off into congresses or into committees and stuff. But their final outcomes was that the security issues that Africa was facing, this was 3 years ago, were from outside of the continent of Africa. Those are what the military people found. That was their findings, that our security issues were coming from the outside. And so for me, if you're a coon in United States or a coon in Africa, you're kind of really not really with us. You're not one of us, really. You're almost an outsider, pretty much an outsider. So if you're complicit in that way, I consider you an outsider. I consider, and in that way, I look at it as coming from the outside, and that you need to be exiled or you need to be executed for the punishment of collaborating with these Europeans who are trying to, continue to get their wealth off of us. But that's that part of it. And then just as far as the title is concerned about what was the title? Okay, Donald Trump confronts Cyril Ramaphosa. I didn't see the meeting, but the fact that I understand that he's in a position where he understands he's read the world room, and he knows he's in a position where he has to go to Washington
to deal with Trump to try to make the ends meet for his country because he hasn't stepped into that place yet where he's like, we're going to do this. We're going to do. He's going to do what Ibrahim Traore is doing, or what Tiani did in Niger. He hasn't gotten to that place yet. So then he needs to go over there and cower down and see if he can get him to give him some money or whatever, get the taxes, tariffs off of him. So I get it. And I'll land there.
No, go
Can
ahead,
I
Wildfire.
Yeah, I just got to make 2 points. The way the president handled the meeting, when I did watch it, I was kind of a little bit annoyed with him. Like he was really being soft and not being assertive enough. But now I actually realize because Donald Trump is very thin-skinned, and you really, even the British Prime Minister had to act very cringy around him. I just see everybody has to be nice, and he's like a big baby. You don't want to mess up your chances, even if he's just saying a bunch of debunked nonsense. Just go along with it. And, so I actually take it back because I was being very rude about the president going, come on, give it to him. Okay, that's one point. And then the second point is that when the African delegates were speaking, it just had a lot of begging feeling. Oh my God, can you give us this? Our country has so much crime. When would Africans, we lead with our problems. We're the marketers of our nations. If we lead with, we are so bad, there's crime is everywhere. If I was in that position, I'm not going to lead, put up my dirty laundry in front of the whole world. South Africa is a beautiful country. Yes, it has its challenges. That's how I would have said it. I wouldn't be like, oh my God, there was a woman that was speaking how people are getting raped. How can you be talking about your nation like that? We don't have patriotic pride in our nations. And it shows that the way we speak about them. Yes, we have challenges in Africa, but if I'm speaking about Africa on a global scale, my nation, I lead with our strengths, and then I'll speak about our challenges, but I'll speak about them with solutions. I don't go there, oh, we have so much crime. I'm like, no, you don't speak about your nation like that. That really pissed me off. He was leading more with, oh my God, can you give us this to stop crime? People are getting murdered, women are getting raped. Why are you talking about your nation like that? America has the same problems, but America lead with always bragging about the nation. But when you get there, it's not all roses. But we Africans, we have a bad habit of always leading with our problems. We need to remember we are marketers of Africa. Yes, we have challenges, but we need to lead with our positivity. We need to sell our nation. And the last point is about the lady that spoke about we need to stop blaming white people. This is coon talk, so I'm not even going to really respond to that. This is what black people try to do. We've been victimized, and now we're not allowed to talk about the people who have victimized us since 2,000 years ago when they invaded Africa. Yeah, we need to call out their nonsense. I'm not going to let people off the hook because every problem that's happening in Africa now, it is still them. So if somebody says, don't blame the whiteys. No, they are to blame. And I'm going to blame them because they're the cause of our problems. And to say, oh, leave them alone. This is all cooning. I don't know why we have this sick mentality in our people, this mollycoddling of whiteness. It's another sickness that will take a lot of time to heal, but I ain't got time to entertain it.
Can I
Let me read
respond
this
to that?
super chat. Robert, thank you for the
thank you for
499
that,
holla.
sister.
Extreme accountability can be used as the coward's way out, so you don't have to fight your perpetrators. No, baby, it's my fault. You cheated on me. Huh? Allie, you want to respond, Allie?
Yeah, I want to respond to her. First of all, I'm not for people using those kind of words. You can express yourself without throwing insults.
No, there's no
Or
other way I have to respond
Wildfire,
that way. I'm sorry.
don't interrupt her. Don't interrupt her. Go ahead, Allie.
Yeah, and that's one of them. Like, I didn't interrupt you. So I think sometimes if you want to even express if you don't agree with what somebody's saying, you don't have to attack, throw attack words like Cooney. I don't even know what Cooney means, but I know it's something like some kind of a verbal abuse, maybe. I don't know. Now, I'm not saying we should not we should not blame the white people as well for what has happened to the black race. Of course, they're a big part of our history. They're slave owners, right? But then again, we were the ones who sold ourselves to them as well from Africa, right? So don't forget that part. And are we gonna keep blaming them? That was my question. And I threw it out there. I'm not saying
Yes, because they keep on victimizing us. I am going to keep blaming them.
Yeah, you can, no problem. But I'm just saying, are we gonna keep blaming them and just sit like sitting ducks and not do anything
Have to be. It's
Hey,
something
Walker,
called
hey,
accountability.
Walker, I'm trying to hear her. I'm trying to hear. I'm trying to hear her. Go ahead, Allie.
Yeah, I'm not saying don't blame them, but we have to free ourselves from the systematic ways they try to control us or try to, do whatever it is they're doing to set us back, right? They're doing it with some intelligence. So we need to think ahead of them and free ourselves from whatever they're trying to do to us. We can't just sit there and keep blaming them. Times are moving.
Can I respond?
Yeah.
Go ahead,
Can I
Alan.
respond to that?
Go ahead,
Yeah.
Alan.
I like the way you said it this time better than you said it the way you said it the first time. When you say that, they have zero blame, that's almost like that comes across almost like a white supremacist talking. Well, it came across that way.
Yeah.
Got
Sorry
you. But it kind of came across the way you said it the first time. This time,
okay.
I think you are far more clear in what it is you're saying. Yes, we can assess a certain amount of blame, but ultimately we are responsible for ourselves, and we have to do the things that can, if racism is real, you can't possibly believe that white people are just going to stop and say, I give up racism. No, you're going to have to do things that are advantageous to yourself so that you can go ahead and fight that system. And having some of these ridiculous high crime rates, having, all these abortions are not things that people who believe racism is real would do, because it's not advantageous to us. And that's a global thing. Ramaphosa was in the White House, and I felt he handled himself pretty well if he was going to go at all, which he probably shouldn't have. But since he was there, he did his best. He brought a couple white people that Trump wanted to talk to, the golfers, and he was friendly and he was nice to Trump, and that makes things a little better. And what he was trying to express to Trump was that we have a crime problem, we have a rape problem, we have those types of problems, and some of these white people are caught up in it, but it's not specifically an ethnic genocide. Crime is out of control in South Africa, which is actually an unfortunate truth, and that's what he said in the White House. Now you could argue he shouldn't have said it, but unfortunately that is the truth, and that truth counteracted the foolishness that Trump was picking up from Musk and the one documentary that he watched.
I have a question.
Let me pass the Bobo. Go ahead, Bobo.
Yeah, I got a couple things I want to say. I didn't see the whole thing. I seen bits and pieces of it. So from what I gathered, that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to go talk to him. That's the top guy in the world. He went over there and he voiced his grievance. If I've been saying this for years, since the first presidency, every time Black Americans go up there and talk to Trump, you automatically labeled as a coon. This going all the way back when Trump was president-elect in 2016, when he invited Black people to Trump Tower to have a conversation in New York. He invited every Black person that went up there. These videos are online. What I'm saying right now can be verified. Every Black person that went up there was labeled a coon, just to go talk to him and see what he's talking about. You're supposed to go talk to the guy, hate him or love him, like him or not. He runs the world, the planet that we live on, this rock that we all sitting on, standing on. Everybody you ever knew, ever stood on and stand on, he runs the world. Whether you like that or not, whether you before you start trolling, bro. I get it.
You're not running Russia.
Just let me finish.
Hey, can I respond to you? Is that okay, man?
Let me finish, bro. You're going to troll. You're not on. Listen, no. Just let me finish. No, you can't respond to me. He runs the planet, period. Why the rest of the African leaders ain't up there talking to him? That should be the question in this Pan-African space. And I noticed something else. I've seen the way that y'all always find a way to dump on Black Americans. Without Black Americans, y'all wouldn't be talking about white supremacy, because that ain't your culture. Y'all don't talk about that in your homeland. That ain't even a term y'all would ever use in your homeland. I hear y'all using our talking points and y'all saying coon and shit like that. I seen somebody talking about why we got so much crime in America. Don is sitting up here talking about we professional victims. Why the Africans ain't professional victims? Who they blaming when they got 99% Africans in their country? We've been sitting over here getting enslaved by these people. They create laws. You catch the police on audio riding around the black community saying, "I want to target a nigger." Where you why they ain't we playing the victim? You got Latinos coming over here getting in government talking about they want to undermine us. You got Arabs in government talking about they want to undermine us. You got these people, we playing the victim, and y'all sitting in Africa with fucking everything the world need under your feet, with 99% of y'all in the fucking country, we playing the victim? Y'all
We
professional
gained
victims.
independence
If
from
we
the white man.
professional victims, y'all super professional victims.
We
Y'all
gained
uber
independence
professional
from the
victims.
white man.
Y'all got
Hey,
everything y'all
yo,
need, but
I'm
y'all
Black
scattered,
American.
y'all displaced all throughout the world, and y'all
Hey,
want to
I'm
wag the finger. Don't find a
hey,
way to keep wagging the finger at us.
hey, I'm
We
Black
ain't.
American.
That's why we, huh?
Can I respond? I'm Black
I
American.
respond. No, okay, I want
Bro,
No,
y'all
African.
no.
listen. Any
Let
black American
African
that going against
respond.
what I'm saying right
Listen,
now, you already
hey,
written off.
listen. Hey,
Here,
can I just talk to you?
let me
Can
close
I
with this.
respond, please?
Why the rest of they should take notes from that guy. He came over here and talked to the guy. You supposed to talk to him. He's running the world. You supposed to go sit down and talk to him. You supposed to be willing to do business and sit down and talk to him and voice your grievance. I actually like that guy. He called them cowards. Y'all claim y'all South Africans. What is y'all leaving for? So what is y'all white? Y'all been over here for hundreds of years. You supposed to work your problem out. I'm not respecting at this point. I'm to the point to where if you ain't in your country, you can't tell us shit. I don't want to hear that bitch ass shit. You a pussy. I don't give a who you if you was born here or not. You come from some fleers and some runners. That South African president ain't no runner. You know what he did? Educated himself, and he got in politics and became the president. And he's trying to help his people. He willing to fly across the world and go talk with the president of the United States to get something done for his people. So if you ain't
Ibrahim
willing to
was
do that, you
invited
ain't
to
in your
talk to
homeland.
Trump.
You can
He
suck a
didn't.
fat one.
Ibrahim was invited to the
Can I
White House.
respond? Can
He
I
didn't.
respond?
He
Let
didn't
me
go. Is he
respond
a
to him.
Hey,
punk?
yo, I'm Black American. Can I respond to this guy real quick? Because okay.
No,
Go
Yeah,
ahead,
Ibrahim is
go
a
ahead,
punk.
Nugget.
Yeah, Ibrahim a
Go ahead,
punk. Yeah,
Nugget.
he a punk too.
Go ahead, Nugget.
Yeah. So yeah, again, I'm Black American. Again, it's not about again, we're citizens of America. Donald Trump is our president, so we have to go talk to him. Cyril Ramaphosa is a head of state. He's not a citizen of America. He's a charge of another country. He
You
doesn't have to go
stupid,
to
bro.
talk. Hey, can I respond to that? Hey,
No, you
can I
stupid, bro. You stupid. If you don't, what do you mean?
can I
You on the
hey, can I
American
finish?
dollar. You on
Hey,
the
can
Swift
I
system.
finish? Yeah,
You're
can
not
I
gonna
finish,
go
bro?
talk to the guy.
Yeah, it's not a again. And now every head has to go talk to Trump. Xi Jinping don't talk to Trump. Putin don't talk to Trump. Hell,
Why don't he?
Zelensky wanted to go talk to him in Turkey. He still said no. It's about power. It's about who needs who. Sarah Ramaphosa thinks he needs Donald Trump, then Donald Trump needs Sarah Ramaphosa. That's why Sarah Ramaphosa went all of that to America. He didn't need to do that. Modi of India, he went all the way to America, and he's in BRICS. They're both in BRICS. That's why I don't believe in BRICS. But, Vladimir Putin didn't went all the way to America because that's
Ain't no
smart. He
more
doesn't need to.
break.
I agree.
Can
BRICS
you
is a stupid
explain
thing.
why for a second?
Who said that?
L said that. I want you to explain why South Africa needs Trump, just so that we can have a perspective of
No,
context.
in Sarah Ramaphosa mind, he needs Trump. I don't think South
They
Africa
do
does need
need
America,
Trump. They do need Trump.
but in
But in
Cyril's
terms of like
mind,
labor allocation, in
no,
terms of employment, how could we help them, or who could help
okay.
them?
Again, this is a
America.
problem with
If
African
I can sanction
politicians.
your country, you need me. Yeah. Period.
Listen. Again, they were in power for 30 years. The ANC ain't like it, and the Zimbabwe stand on BF. In 30 years, they wasted all this time doing nothing, like being corruption. They could have reached out to Black Americans. They could have reached out to there's Black farmers in America. They could have reached out to them, talked to them.
Why they can't
Like,
reach out to
again,
themselves? These y'all some man. I don't know.
yeah, like I'm saying, again, Donald Trump is a pan-European. Donald Trump is working in the best interest in his people, and I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at Donald Trump for taking in these white refugees. I'm mad at Sarah Ramaphosa and all these Black governors not taking in Black refugees from America or like Black farmers in America. That's their fault. Donald Trump is doing what he's supposed to be doing, and they're not. That's my biggest problem with that guy.
Let me read these super chats. Black Jack, thank you for $9.99. At Wildflower, blaming whites isn't the issue. It's always blaming them without any counter strategy. It makes us look weak and incompetent. People feel sorry for you initially, then they start being apathetic. Robert, thank you for the 499 holla. Extreme accountability. Kim already read that one. All right. Go ahead, City. Let me pass it.
Yeah, I
Go,
want
Bobo. Let me pass it, City. I'll pass it back to you, Bobo. Go, City.
yeah, I want to respond to this guy they call Bobo. So Ramaphosa, he handled it, in the diplomatic way. He got almost 40% unemployment rate, and they have almost 600 American companies that are in South Africa export stuff to the US. So he knows very well that he need America. This is the most powerful country in the world, right? But I don't understand what Volvo came with the idea of African Americans that, I don't know what he's talking about.
You ain't gonna know.
Let me respond to you. Can I respond to you?
There's
Can I respond?
the situation in America is more of genocide. There's no genocide in America. It's black or black crime. Black people.
That's just not. Oh no, that's trolling shit.
Let
I
me
ain't even about to even bite. I ain't about to bite. Yeah, you finish it.
and then all the black people that are in prison, I don't think we have any proof to prove that white people should be blamed for that. If you smoke crack, if they throw in prison, we can put out
y'all saying shit like that, giving these people these talking points.
And also, this is New York City right now. It's summertime starting. You see them riding motorcycle crazy and running people over.
Africans doing that shit too. Make sure you say that too in New York. Africans doing that too.
Let me finish. And also you will see, I have friends in the medical field, right? You will see black women that have aborted over 10 times, right? And they still support Democrat. And these are Democratic agenda, right? You see Obamacare, there's part of Obamacare that support transgender. And for all the medical procedures that they go through, they get covered by Obamacare. And you see 20 years old will just decide, get crazy and just say, well, today I was born as a lady. Let me just, go and change myself. And Obamacare will sponsor that. For the fact that it's a very expensive medical procedures, Obamacare will support that. These are all Democratic agenda. And now Donald Trump is trying to close all these abortion clinics, and we're going against him for that. That doesn't make sense to me. So we have to think, sometimes we have to pick what are the things that are benefiting the black community and that are not benefiting us, right? So sitting here and say, well, Ramaphosa should challenge Trump. Now, Zelensky, he did it. He did right now. Ukraine is facing the consequence. You know how many people have died since he came in the White House and started challenging Trump? This is what Trump don't like. He's a media guy. If you want to talk to him, give him all the credibility and get what you want. But after 4 years from now, he's going to be leaving and another president going to come. This is the most powerful country in the world. You cannot fight this country. They can decide to crash South Africa economy. It will be gone forever. It will probably move from 40% unemployment to 100% unemployment. And South Africa don't need that right now. So that's what I have to say. But thank you.
100% unemployment. Like this guy just
Can I get next or whenever?
Yeah, after you, L, you go after Volvo.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, this last guy's a buffoon, man. This last guy, Africans smoke crack in America. What do you mean? Like I don't know why crack just associated with black people. White people smoke crack in America. Black men not making you smoke crack and all that type of shit.
You don't make. You just speaking like a ghetto person, man. I don't understand what you.
I am a ghetto person. Yes, I am a ghetto. You're an African that fled this country. Y'all are inferior people. Y'all stupid. Y'all are stupid. Y'all are fucking idiots. You're idiots. You're idiots. You're always making a bad move. Y'all come over here and try to flex and act like y'all doing so much better than us, and we ghetto people, but y'all run over here to live in the ghetto with us.
But we are. The facts show that
you run over here and live in the ghetto with us. Why you not in your country?
Those are the facts.
Ghetto person, I'm past that. That shit don't mean nothing to me. I know that y'all are inferior people. Y'all stupid. You're stupid. You're an idiot. The God has given you everything you need. Fertile farmland, fertile fishing waters, fucking lions, tigers, bears, everything you fucking need over there. God gave us the devil. The devil.
What do you got?
The white devil. We were their slaves. They can sit you over there and have gold under your feet, oil under your feet. And you such an idiot that you won't know what to do with it. You gotta come see the white man to figure out what to do with it. They can walk away with it. That's the real problem. That's what y'all jealous about. I am a ghetto person. I was subjugated in this country to the ghetto. They made our countries our communities ghettos. That's American history, fool. That's American history, fool. Y'all sellouts. Y'all have a sellout culture. That's why you're not home right now. You're never going back over there. You're more concerned with the affairs of this country instead of the affairs of your homeland. Because you're a coward.
That's why you have.
That's why you're you're a coward, and you have survivor's remorse. You have survivor's remorse. You have a complex about having to flee your country and being somewhere else in the world. I don't have that. I don't have that. I fought right here. I made a better life for my people and for you. You should be kissing the bottom of my foot after I take my work boots off. That's what you should be doing because you're not going to do nothing in your homeland. We not taking no disrespect from no weirdos that had to flee their country and now they having an identity crisis. They don't know who the fuck they are in America. We can't keep taking no disrespect like that. If we're playing the victim, you're really playing the victim. What is wrong with you where you can have everything and you sell your people, you sell your resources? Y'all can't even figure out a toilet. America talking about a golden dome over the country, and you can't figure out a toilet system? How to flush away your waste?
Do you own something? What do you own as a black person? You don't own anything. When you talk
what do you mean we own more than the African?
What do you own?
No, we own more than the African. The African got to come over here to get it done. He got to go to Canada to get it done. He's got to go to Europe to get it done. He got to go to Australia to get it done. We seen those fucking Ukrainians giving y'all bananas.
No, you
giving y'all bananas.
You don't own anything in America. When they talk about
just
sports,
talking, you're jealous. You're jealous. You're jealous. You're welcome. You're jealous. You're welcome. You're a coward and you have an identity crisis. You're a nobody. You're just a generic dark-skinned person in America. You have nothing. You can't live in your country, so you're not them. You over here, you're not us. What are you?
Can someone else talk? Because now that it's going into some other things. I don't know what's going on.
Serious inferiority complex.
Talking in general terms, there are a lot of African Americans that go to Africa. Some of the diners are respecting, and Africans have respect for him. But yeah, you have
you sitting here talking about crack and being in jail and all that shit when y'all can't even figure out a toilet. I got 2 toilets in my house, 2 of them.
Yeah, because you live in a project, you free house.
Right? I don't live in the projects. I'm a homeowner. And even if I did, you need a project system in your country. That's the problem. You don't got any social programs in your country. That's what first world countries do. You idiot. You came over here to live in a project.
Social program sounds like socialism. Aren't you guys a capitalist country?
You're just trolling. You're supposed to have social programs to back up capitalism. You idiots, you African idiots. Y'all the worst people on the planet. You and these
Baba, why are you so upset? You're so triggered today. Are you okay?
I'm listening to y'all talking about.
Did you say something to upset you? Are you okay?
Honestly, playing the victims, and y'all not playing the victims.
That's what it is.
And we was
Baba, are you
slaves.
okay?
And you can live in a country where it's 1 million of y'all. Y'all
Because
these doctors and lawyers and engineers and all that.
can we listen to Maximilian what he has to say? This is getting boring.
Y'all chop that up, put that shit on, put everything that Vovo said, chop it up. I bet you it go. And they're gonna agree with it. Only the trolls that had their face ain't gonna agree with it.
Black crime on black crime. There's no.
It's black crime in Africa. All the crime in Africa is black on black crime. You remember that? Ain't no other race of people walking around killing Africans. Is African short sleeve and long sleeve because they want to see who gonna sell, who gonna get cheated out of their diamonds to the white man. They want to see we gonna cut each other arms off the sea.
We're not doing that.
This is getting boring now.
Let me pass to Maximilian. Go ahead, Maximilian.
What's up, Dennis? Hey, Baba, what's going on? I love you, man. You got a lot of anger going on with you today, though, Baba. I don't know what's up with that. We're gonna move it on, but you're entitled to your opinion, though. I ain't gonna say nothing about that. But now, Dennis, do I think the president of South Africa should have met with Donald Trump today? I don't think so. I think Donald Trump only respects power. If he would have told Donald Trump, okay, if you want to send sanctions against us, we're not going to give you any more resources from South Africa, and all the other African countries would have got together and said, look, if you don't want to do business, You get your gold, you get your cobalt, you get it from somewhere else. Because when you start treating you, because Africa has something they need. I don't know why they can't get together and say, look, cut these people off. Even though we have to suffer for a few months to let them know that you can't get, we have all the resources. They don't talk to Saudi Arabia that way. Because
Exactly.
as soon as you get slick in the mouth, well, let me finish, Baba. As soon as you get slick in the mouth with Saudi Arabia, they're gonna raise the damn oil prices, or they're gonna start pumping oil and set the Canadian basin down so the Canadians can't pump oil no more. You got to learn to play the game with them. What he should have done was, okay, Mr. President, we don't have genocide in our country, but what we do have is a lot of resources in our country. And so if you want to come over there and show us where the genocide is at, and while you're there, I can show you the resources that you're getting from us. Let's play this game right if we're going to play this game. So I'm not going to sit here and say that we don't have killings in South Africa, but you have killings in America. You have black farmers in America that have had all their land stolen. They don't talk about that. So you want to talk about a white farmer in South Africa, but look at what the black farmers are going through in America right now, still suing for losing their farms. So now we're going to call bullshit. Let's call it both sides. But I know the president, he couldn't come up there and argue with Trump because that's what he wanted him to do. He was just egging on. He was just waiting for that president to say something, and his little minion over there sitting beside him was going to try to do him just like they did to the president from, you know what I'm talking about,
Ukraine.
Ukraine. They were just waiting to undermine him. So the guy was really smart about the way he handled it. But then I'm going to be honest, and I'm going to say this. Those white people that he brought with him didn't really stand up for him. Well, it is some genocide going on. They didn't say genocide, but they were kind of going along with Trump in a way. So, when I got back to my country, I probably had to be doing some dealing. My last thing, Dinus, and I'm going to say this, the EFF is right. The white people make up 7% of the population on 72% of that land. Take your damn land back. If he already saying you taking the land, it's a genocide, do exactly what he's saying. Take all that shit and throw them out your country. And then it's over with. That's my opinion.
Oh,
So
let me pass it. I got to pass it to L. Go ahead, L.
That was a lot. So I wanted to give my opinion on the South African president going to the American thing. I think Trump is going to be doing this to a lot of presidents. He's going to be inviting them to America to essentially humiliate them in front of the white American media. I think he's getting poll points for that, even though he can't go into another election. But at the same time, the president, I felt he was very weak. Watching it just made me angry, honestly. It made me want to punch him in the face because there's a lot of things that they could do in order to create more transparency with the crime, initiatives that they can start in their own country, specifically refining their statistics on how they even look at crimes. Because I don't even think they take race or ethnicity or any of that into consideration. So if someone's going to say that's happening, they're going to need to have to back it up with statistical facts. And if your system's not developed enough in order to record that, I think that is the first thing that needs to be figured out, the foundational structure of how you're going to perform these kind of administrative tasks in your government. And then, so it just kind of frustrated me, like realizing that and understanding that and doing research on South Africa as a whole, just seeing how unprepared in terms of information the president was. I don't even know if you even watched the Zelensky interview. Like, I don't know if he was prepped at all, but it was definitely a sign of weakness. And it's like he should have just stayed home ultimately. And the reason why I say that is because it's coming off as President Trump is looking for a way to promote a government that he can put in there himself that allows him to extract resources. I don't know what resources South Africa has, but that's why it's freaking me out because it's coming up that way. I'm sorry?
I said South Africa has a lot of resources, gold, diamonds, you name it.
Yeah, and it's the perfect setup because you got a population of 4.5 million people that are white, and then 72% of the total population is black. So multiply that by, as much as you need in order to understand the numbers we're dealing with. But essentially, they're creating a system it's like slavery again, because you got the cotton pickers, which are the black population, and and the thing is, we don't even have statistics on the white farms. Like, how many of these white farmers are actually farmers? Because when I go online, I see black South African farmers, and when I look at what their economic situation is, they don't own the land that they're on. The land is owned by white people. So are those black South African farmers being classified as white farms because they're owned by white people? You know, so they just really need to get the statistics together in order to present them to the world as a whole. And then if BRICS is really an alliance, they need to reach out to China. I know China likes to sell shit to people, but we need to figure out a way to get people to want to buy things other than resources, because Africa is stuck in this monopoly of resources only, and everyone's like, no. It seems like the whole world's like, no, we can't buy shit from Africa. We have to only just buy the raw resources. And then through
Resource
colonization, the
extraction. That's how they
prices are
set up the
depreciated.
continent.
I'm sorry?
Now, I just said that they set up the continent as just for resource extractions. We can't actually manufacture things. That's how they control the global economy, and we need to turn that around.
Yeah, but the only way we can do that is through infrastructure, because the thing about it is, it's a ticking time bomb. Eventually, Africans are going to get so fed up with it, and then Europeans and Americans, they're going to show their true colors, and they're going to reestablish control over the regions so that they can get stuff cheaply priced. And that's ultimately what's going to happen. So, like, the only way to stop that really is to bide your time, build the infrastructure. If anyone has anything to say about your country, come up with the data in order to solve that problem. And then reach it. And then if countries have a specific issue with it, you need to
And the thing about
present a
crime
case.
in South Africa is caused because the economy is unequal. People don't want to talk about black people. We're just not inherently criminal. It's the economical situation that pushes us. The apartheid government made the unfair economy where whites are the ones living in luxury and blacks are living in poverty. Because of that, this makes people create crime.
I have to interrupt. I hate that excuse, because I know plenty of black people who come from the gutter that aren't robbing and killing people. I can't stand that excuse.
Dinus, I understand you hate that
But
excuse,
poverty does push people to commit. If you ain't got food in your mouth, then what are you gonna do? And you see somebody live. We can't live in an idealistic world. I'm sorry.
Listen, I live here in Atlanta. All right. Every time I am at Kroger, everyone in front of me, they have an EBT card. This stuff is all Wildflower. When I was on food stamps for like 3 months when I lived in LA when I was a struggling actor. I took my ass to the county office and they gave me a food stamp card. It was $250 a month, and for a single man back in 2009, that was a lot of money. So I mean, I'm not buying it. All this stuff is subsidized. I'm not buying it.
But people are not committing crime because they enjoy the lifestyle, or they inherently is part of the culture. They do it because of economical situations. Like in this country now, in the UK, because the economy is struggling, all the people are stealing from the shops. The white people can't feed their kids. People are stealing nappies. People have to put everything behind locks now. This is in the UK, London, because the economy is struggling. People are broke. So when the economy is broke, what do you expect people to do?
But yeah, in America, they have 4% unemployment rate. You could get a job. In Harlem right now, everything is locked, right? Because if you don't lock things in your store, they will come and steal everything. They will be standing by the roadside and ask you, "Oh, Africa, can you give me $2?" And then what is the minimum wage in New York City? You could get a job. Dennis is right. Everybody is on welfare. They have their card going to store. They don't want to work. It's just a laziness. South Africa are reason with that. It's 40% unemployment in South Africa, right? But in America, it's 4%. You could get a job in any part of New York City.
I'm sorry, but what are you trying to say, bro? You're inferring like a whole bunch of stuff that ain't real. Like, you can't compare South African crime to Black American crime. It's just a completely different breed of crime.
Thank you.
Yeah, I understand. I'm not comparing it, but I'm saying
no, but you got to actually show numbers and context. You can't compare them equally like that, bro.
But
and where are you from? Where are you from? Where are you from?
You say this,
Where are
right?
you from?
In South Africa, there's a rape culture. There's no rape culture.
Where are you from, bro? Because you might not even be from either country. So where are you from? Talking all this mess. Your country should be the model for what the heck you're talking about.
It doesn't matter
Oops.
where I'm from. It's
Oops,
not.
yeah,
It
don't
does
matter
matter
where
where
you're
you're from, because if
He's
the
not
people where you
important.
from
man.
ain't
He's a
doing it,
nobody, bro.
and you
He's a
just a
fucking nobody.
spectator talking mess, and you ain't got no allegiance to nobody, then yeah,
Can
it
I
does
say this to
matter.
Donis? Can I say that, Donis?
It's not.
So
It's
what,
not
what do
Dinus,
you
important
can
right
I
equate?
say
now.
something?
That's not
Donis,
necessary.
what do you
Let me
equate?
pass the go ahead, Vovo. Then I'm gonna pass the alley. Go ahead,
What
Vovo.
do you equate the crime to then? If you said that
Huh?
everything is subsidized, what do you equate the crime to then?
Greed, being
Greed.
greedy.
Greed.
I'm gonna tell you
Yeah.
why, Bobo. These cats will go rob and shoot you. They go to Foot Locker. They're
Yep.
not going to get no food. They're going to Foot Locker. They're going to Foot Action. They're going to the Gucci store. They're going
That's
to
not
Louis.
true. That's
They
the white
going to get the
supremacist talking
drop.
point.
They going
That's the white
the car
supremacist
line to
talking
get a
point.
Mercedes. That's what they doing.
That's
It's greed.
the white supremacist talking point. That's
It's
not true.
greed.
That's
It's
100%
greed.
not true.
That's not
No,
right.
it's greed. It has
That's
nothing.
not greed.
It has nothing to do with being hungry. It's greed.
Yep. It's a
Yeah,
greed.
yes, it do.
No, it
Yes,
don't.
it
So
do.
you're saying the people making
Everybody, you
32K
got
are doing
because
that?
you got a
listen,
food
man.
stamp
They're
card
buying
now.
Gucci 32K.
Just because you got a
Come
food
on,
stamp
man.
card, that don't mean
Yeah.
you can pay the rent. That don't mean you
It's
can make the
called
rent.
that's
That is a
subsidized,
white
Bobo.
supremacist talking
It's
point.
subsidized.
That's a
It's
white. The
subsidized.
rent ain't subsidized.
Yes, it is.
No, it's
Yes, it
not.
is.
Yes, it
Yes,
is.
it
No,
is.
tell me about it. Tell me about it.
It's
What do you
called
mean tell you
Section
about
8.
it? It's subsidized.
Do you
It's
know
called
how long
Section
it
8.
will take to get on Section 8?
They still pay
It's
some.
subsidized.
But how
Hold
can
on,
someone?
wait. Everybody just get Section 8.
Hold on, Bobo. I'm gonna try to find this video, but let me pass it back to Allie. Let me try to find this video real quick.
Okay, so this is to Volvo and to L. So if you remember when I just started talking, I'm only talking about what Black people are going through and how we can release ourselves from the white
You're
systematic
not we,
process.
ma'am. With all due respect, you're not we. But go ahead.
I'm not. Let me finish. I know you're ready to attack me, but let me finish my point. Okay. So now we're talking about. I came on the show and I heard you guys talking about, the America. I mean, what the Black folks going through, the abortion, how the white people are, we're still under the oppression of the white people, the African Americans, and that's why I spoke in that context. Now, I'm not saying we from Africa don't have our issues. We have larger issues. Right? We have corruption. We're our own problems as well. I'm not exonerating Africans. I'm only speaking in within the context of the Africa America and American, basically, right? Because
Yeah, but
see
you
things around me as
also
well.
got to understand the statistics behind it. Among Americans in general, people in poverty, there's only a 7% transfer to the next class, and then it gets smaller and smaller and smaller. So there's not that many people transferring classes, for one. For two, when it comes to subsidized living, a lot of that is due to like single mothers with like 8 or 9 kids, and that's a part of every community. So it's an issue in America and with American culture, but it's not a Black American thing. And we really, and that's the thing that we need to focus on. And on top of that, when it comes to economics, people who are actually trying to succeed in America, we're not getting promoted into management positions.
African American, the discuss is always like, this is what the white people are trying to do. They're trying to hold us back. They're trying to do this to us.
Well,
And
they
that's
are
when I
holding
came.
us back because we assimilated into their
But they are
economy
doing
instead of
that.
having our own
But
economy.
here's the thing, though. Even if we
Okay,
give
you guys
y'all
are not
evidence, y'all still won't accept it. Y'all still won't
Bobo,
accept
okay,
the
let me
evidence.
just land my thoughts. I promise I won't take too much time. Right. That's why I came in and said,
Let me say this before you do it, just real fast. I find it disrespectful that you would come to this country and wag your finger at us. I find that extremely disrespectful.
I already exonerated myself from what you're about to do because I told you just right now, I'm only contributing into the context of America. I'm not, if you were discussing about Africa, yes, I would come in and say the same thing. I'm going to say black and white as it is. I'm not saying Africa, we're doing any better. We are our own problems back in Africa as well. I just said it, due to corruption, tribalism, religious bigotry, and all of that. It's all
We'll
there as
handle
well.
our business, you handle yours.
I'm sorry?
We'll handle our business and you handle yours, but go ahead with the finger wagging.
All right. So where I'm coming to is, and anytime you say, "Oh, why you guys coming to? Why you Nigerians coming or Africans coming to America? Why don't you stay back in your country?" Well, people immigrate. It's part of the human characteristics, right? We move from place to place. Now, remember, in Nigeria, we're over 200 million. In America, I can tell you for free, we're not up to 1 million Nigerians. So you still have a
There's only
lot more
400
Nigerians
Nigerians,
back home.
400K Nigerians. There's not a million. There's only 400K.
Exactly. So we're not even up to that. So where do you even start by saying, why are we coming to America? The bulk of
The
us are
reason
still
why
in
we say
Nigeria,
why you're
right?
coming is because you're not
Same
coming
way
as
Africans,
refugees.
same way
You're coming as
Americans. We have
economic.
Americans. We have
I never
Americans
said that.
coming to Nigeria as well. We have Europeans coming to Nigeria as well. So it's all immigration. It's a human it's a human characteristic. So don't go there. And thirdly, anytime you try to say, "Oh, you Africans are this and that," remember you are African as well, right?
No one's
You are
trying to say
African as
you
well.
Africans
Your
are this or
ancestors
that.
are Africans. So, it's a black
Jeez.
thing I'm trying to talk about, not of Africa or Nigeria or Mali. It's a black thing I'm talking about. As a black race, how do we come together and make ourselves a force to reckon with, a race to reckon with? That's what I said, but I'm
You
just
got to put it in
contributing.
context, though. You got to put
Yeah,
it in
in different
context. You guys
contexts.
aren't
Yes,
doing. You guys
if
aren't
we're
doing better
talking
than us
about
in
Nigeria,
America.
like I said, I would gladly come in
It's
and tell you a
200
bunch
million
of
of y'all.
Economic migrants do better
200
than us,
million.
but refugee
200 million,
populations
and
do
it's
not.
40 million Black Americans. That's get that together first. Get the 200 million of y'all first. Think about that first.
Yeah, when you
That's
discuss
what
that,
you
we'll
mean.
talk about that. We're not talking about that today, and that's why I didn't say
No,
anything
we ain't
about that.
Janice,
talking
can
about
I
that.
come
We
in?
ain't accepting no finger wagging and all that finger
So
wagging.
please, next time you keep
See,
don't insult
I'm gonna tell you this
Africans.
again.
You are
I'm gonna tell you this
African
again.
yourself. You are
No,
African
I'm not.
yourself.
But here's the thing, right?
Bobo
We're
is
not
American.
we're
That's a
talking
straw
about
man.
building.
That's
No,
a straw
you're
man.
African.
That's
You
a
only
straw
you
man.
you are
Listen, let me say
Africa
this.
before
Let's
you
put this in
became
context.
But it's
anything
also a
else.
straw man.
You
Let's
are
put this in
African.
context. Let's
It's
put this
still a
in
straw
context.
man.
I'm American, period. But let's put this in context. America's under construction a golden dome over the country. I say this all the time. You can build a dome over Africa and nothing goes in, nothing come out. The Africans should be okay. But we're in the age of they're talking about building a golden dome over America to where you can shoot shit from the sky, from space and it won't touch them. Nigeria can't even figure out toilets. A toilet system is 2025.
Excuse you? Who gave you that information? Where did you get that? Where did you get that information from?
This is May 20. There's signs in Nigeria. No open defecation.
Janice,
2024.
listen, man.
Excuse you? Like we don't have toilets? Really? Have you been to Nigeria?
Don't listen to this guy. This guy doesn't read. He doesn't read. He has no idea what he's talking
You
about.
just sit there and
You have
listen to
toilets,
false
but you don't
fake
have a
news.
fully
You don't
functioning
even know.
toilet
You've never
system.
been there. How
That's
do
why
you know?
there's
There's
signs
no
in your
open
country.
defecation in
That's what he's
Nigeria, is what
saying.
you're saying, man.
He doesn't
There
read.
is
Just
there
forget
is
about
open
this guy,
defecation
man.
in America as well.
Where at?
I
You
finished.
can't even put up a building. Listen to what I'm telling you. If you work construction, it's mandatory. If you not even work, if you're working outside, they got to bring a porta potty with you to the construction site. That's mandatory. That's the code.
I have seen it. Like I told you, I have
That's
seen
the
open
code. You have to
defecation.
literally
Can I come
travel.
in?
A porta potty got to travel with the
I've
construction
seen
worker.
people
I'm a
peeing.
truck
I've
driver.
seen guys
There's
peeing at
toilets
the train
everywhere.
station
We
publicly
can't
in
build a
places
building
they
in
shouldn't
America
do it.
without
Come
a toilet
on.
in it.
When
Don't go there,
If
Bobo.
the
Don't
toilet
go
is not
there.
hooked up to the sewer system in the ground, you can't build the building in America.
Okay, but when you go
The
into
building
the
will not
project
pass the code
building,
inspection.
when you
That's
enter
just
the
flat out.
project, where they have all the elevators,
And the
you will see those
projects
guys
look better
sitting
than
in
my fucking house.
in the
The
elevator.
people that live in the projects got solar panels on their house.
No, but they
What
shit
are you
in
talking
the
about?
elevator,
Y'all
right?
need a project. That's why you got to run away. Y'all need an EBT system. You need a social program to fall back in case you can't make it in capitalism, so you can bounce back.
Okay,
You
but
need a social program.
okay, I
First
understand
world
that.
nations have, throughout history, have always had a social program.
All right, I
Back in the
understand
day,
that.
they would give out bread and water.
If you see someone going and
It was soup
shoplifting, he
kitchens.
got $500 slinkers in his food. Do you think that's an economic problem? He
What did you
going
say?
$1,000 slinkers and he's going to steal from
Listen,
the
you're
store.
welcome. I don't even know what you talk. I don't speak
You
that.
have to know
You're
the
welcome.
person's income. You can't just generalize the
It's not
population.
an
Like,
economic
how many black
situation.
people do you think live in the ghetto? Like, can you answer that? Can you tell me that?
Right.
How many black people do you
I'm
think
not
live in the
interested.
ghetto?
I'm not interested in knowing that. What is not
Yeah,
important.
if you're not
What
interested in knowing that, then you can't make broad generalizations.
I'm not
You see how that works?
Did you understand?
There's middle class
saying
black
that-
neighborhoods.
No,
where
there's no
when
understanding of
there's
broad generalization if you don't even know how many black people are in the ghetto.
No.
DeSoto,
I
Texas.
won't
You're
say
overly
that.
simplifying it.
I'm saying my
Warrensville,
question
Ohio,
is,
right around the corner.
I'm saying that
Warrensville, Ohio.
if you
What
see
you're
someone,
saying doesn't make any sense. It's not an argument. You would be failing your rhetoric and argumentation class right now.
no, but you're not listening to me. You got to listen
I
to
am
me.
listening to you.
Okay. Can
Your
you listen?
points are not tangent on data.
Give
I'm
me a
all
second.
about data.
So I'm
So how
saying
many
that
people live in the ghetto? Do you know?
I'm not talking about ghetto right now. I'm just giving an example, right?
Yeah, you keep saying project
Okay,
this.
so my
We need to
example,
know.
if
Because
you
if it's only like 10% of the population, then that's a good thing to know. What
if
about the other 90%?
listen to me, if you see
That's how
some,
you extend the conversation.
if you see someone running to the store and wearing $500 slinkers and go and steal food from the store, is that an economic situation or is
That's a
just
white
Can you
supremacy.
show me an
You see that?
example of
You
where
see
you
that?
see
Yeah,
someone
can't show me an
in
example
a
of that.
Gucci outfit
Because all the
and
people I see
with
stealing out of
20
stores
inch
be
rims
homeless crackheads and shit.
stolen out of? Do you have any data to support that broad generalization? It
I don't
sounds
have
like
the
you
data.
amalgamated a bunch of different data points without looking at any demographic or characteristics
You're
of the
talking to
population in
educated
order to
person,
make your
man. You're talking
conclusion.
to someone that went to school that is well educated, working in corporate environment. I'm telling you right now, this is
Yeah,
what
and I work in a corporate environment too, sir.
so I don't know which data that you're talking about.
What
I'm
are you
telling
talking
you,
about?
we're trying to compare
I'm gonna be
situation.
nice. I'm gonna be nice.
America
No, we're
has
not trying to
4%.
compare situations.
America
I'm
has
just saying,
four.
point out the data. If you're trying to compare
America has
situations,
4%
not
of
broad generalizations, broad generalizations is
and
just
now
going to
you're
create
seeing
more
people running to
divisiveness.
the
And who
store.
are you? You have no allegiance to anybody else. You're just a general black in America. That's what you are because
Yeah,
you don't
generic.
identify with whatever
Generic
you come
person.
from and you don't identify with any other thing. So
No, that's not
it's like, come
important.
on, dude.
That's not important. The point of argument
It
is
is important because your argument, your whole everything is based off of your pathos. This is rhetoric and argument 101. Pathos is emotion, ethos, logic.
no.
Those are the three
I was
components of
just trying to
argument. So if
establish
you're sitting here lacking on pathos
in
because you don't
America.
have
I was
any
just telling you that
character,
there's
then that's
no
the
there's
problem
no
with your
genocide
argument.
in America. Someone was saying that it's genocide, and I was saying that there's black and black crime, right? That's what I said. Why would you see someone
Is there
Yeah, but
black
there's
on
white
black
on
taking
white
on a?
crime?
crime too. And if you look at Africa, like I said
I'm
earlier,
not making
because I'm
comparison.
being neutral and unbiased, I said that crime typically happens within community. That's why white genocide doesn't happen in South
Okay,
Africa because it
I'm
typically
not I'm
happens
not
in
making
community.
comparison, but what I would tell you is, as Daniels, how many times have you gone to Nigeria and see someone standing with gun, trying to shoot someone, trying to kill someone? Have you seen that anywhere in Africa? But go to Besta, bro.
Nowhere in Africa, shit, they
Well, hold on,
macheting people.
hold on, hold on. Let me interject. Northern Nigeria definitely has a problem. I would say that there's definitely a problem in Northern Nigeria. Like,
Yeah, but we're
Didn't
talking
they
about
kidnap
Besta.
a bunch of girls like 10 years back?
Yeah,
yeah. Northern Nigeria is
Stop
a problem.
playing.
And that I can't even like. Northern Nigeria is a problem. I would rather be in Bedside in Northern Nigeria.
yeah,
I
because
mean,
of
now
for,
finally, damn, Donis, goddamn.
Daniels, Daniels,
Damn,
because of
Donis,
war.
thank you. Damn. She
That's a war.
real, yeah. She
That's
Hey,
a
real,
war
Dennis.
yeah.
situation, right? That's
Trust
a
me,
war situation.
trust me. I would rather be
Yeah,
in
come on now,
Bedside than
knock it
Northern
off, y'all. We can't
Nigeria.
just say anything. Huh?
I mean, come on, like Northern
Daniel,
Hey,
Daniel,
Nigeria
now
is
you
a
Daniel,
problem.
what I'm saying is that 54 country in Africa, right? And you talk about terrorist attack on the northern part of Nigeria. That's a complete different situation. But I'm
I
no,
talking
mean, I
about
don't
no.
think it's a completely different situation because
standing
every
in the east.
example that you bring up is from the North. The vast majority of Black Americans live in the South. So we're your South examples.
So standing in the street
Since
of
geography
Abuja
matters to you
or
now.
standing in the street of Lagos, have you seen any black person with AK-47 waiting to shoot another black person or get on the bus?
I mean, I really don't see that in America. Like,
Right.
Yeah, like what are you
That's what I'm
talking
Right,
saying.
about?
I'm
yeah,
talking about
you
normal
like
situation.
I
where
If
mean,
you
your
go
I'm
to
not
parents
saying
Burkina
no
at?
happen, but I
Faso,
don't see that in America, really. Like I
Yeah,
said,
this ain't no Grand Theft Auto.
no,
He want to paint a picture like it's just Grand Theft Auto, like somebody gonna just walk up and snatch you out your car, knock you in the head.
And a
Man, knock
Gucci
it
belt.
off. America is a safe country. You're not in any
it,
danger in
it's
America.
it's not. It's not
You're
Sierra
not
Leone.
in any danger. America is a safe country. Y'all let
It's
the news psych y'all out like that. Ain't nobody did nothing to you. Ain't
So I
nobody
think
thinking
when
about
you
you.
spoke, we need to focus the
Ain't nobody thinking
conversation.
about
If
you in them
America's so
crusty African
dangerous,
flip flops. You ain't
give
got
us a
nothing that
card.
we want, huh? All the people that these criminals you thinking of, these criminals, these black criminals you thinking of, they got their own shit going on.
it
They
just happened
usually target
recently.
each
The
other.
innocent lady got
They
Wait,
shot in
usually target each
Harlem.
so
other. Ain't
let
nobody
me
Harlem.
let me
running
put a
around here trying to.
statistical perspective on it.
So
Every time you guys bring up a city where you're talking about, oh, the Black Americans are committing all these crimes, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, those cities are diversely populated with different groups of people. So, like for example, if you go to Chicago, Chicago has about I think 800,000 Black people total, and I think like 300 of them are actually not of American descent. So the thing about it is we don't keep ethnic statistics. And the issue is when you look at regions like Chicago, there's a huge Somali population that doesn't fit the norm of the model minority. And that's when I stumbled across and realized that, hey, the people who are actually coming over here as refugees, they're benefiting off the system and they're on the welfare shit too. And then the people who didn't come over here as refugees, who came over here as economic migrants, they benefit from social programs that go over there and ask them to come over here. So it's like y'all are getting paid to do this shit either way, the same. But the thing is,
Let
we
me
got to
add
put
this,
stuff in perspective.
let me add this very important piece to what you just said. In Chicago, black people ain't the only people that's killing people. But when you hear it's 300 murders in Chicago, your mind automatically goes to it's all black. Now, I would even say it's most. I'll even just for shits and giggles for the argument, it's most, but it's not all black people. It's Mexicans up there doing shit, Puerto Ricans up there doing shit, white people up there doing shit. But the black part gets sensationalized, and you automatically in your mind, if you hear there's 500 murders in Chicago, you in your mind think that that's all black people. But one thing we do know for sure, if it's 500 murders in Nigeria, all 500 of them are Nigerians, and all 500 murders were committed by Nigerians. Now talk about that. Prove that wrong.
Hey, Dennis, can I get in?
Let me prove you then. Let me prove you wrong. So you talk about South Side of Chicago, right? 99.9% of crime over there is committed by black person. I live in Harlem, right? Harlem is right now is probably a 60% white, 40% black. Every crime that is committed in Harlem, specifically killing someone, is committed by black. 99.9%, right? Recently, I was going to Central Park. Central Park is like almost every properties that you see around there is probably $1 million property. A lady got up from her bed and she got shot by straight bullet. She got killed, assisted, right? And she
Probably
was
was
the
an
first
African.
black lady, first black
Probably was an
lady to open
African.
a
It might have been
grocery
an
store.
African. A lot of the people, the
Yeah,
crimes
might
get
have
done
been
in
an
No,
New
no,
York
no.
is
There
done
are
African,
by
no
Africans and
might have
African.
been a
Caribbeans.
Haitian, might have been a
Brother. There's no
Caribbean, could have
Yeah,
been
it might
African.
have been
anybody.
Caribbean or African. It's New York,
Like
right?
every
New
Nah,
York
every
nah,
spot
nah,
you
is
nah.
all
mention
over.
is a
I'm telling you
diversely
right now.
But
populated spot.
in
So
your
can
mind,
we
even if it is
correlate
an
the
African,
diversity
you
of
don't
black
want to
people
claim him.
and Africanism? Is that the root cause? Diversity of black people in an area is causing all the crime, because that's where it seems to happen. Can you bring up any spots that are like all just FBA? There's
No,
tons of them in the South.
it's not a matter of population. I'm seeing that right now. Where I live in Harlem is 60%
Bro,
white,
nobody cares about what
40%
you see.
black.
Univariate, one variable
And you
observations,
say
Hey,
your
those type of
hey,
people
observation
over there
doesn't
where
matter
they
in the
commit
grand
all
scheme of
these
things.
crimes and
hey,
all these
It's all
white
about
people
data.
to
hey,
come to
Dennis.
a worse
Hey,
country.
Dennis, can I get in?
Yeah, go ahead, Maximilian. Go ahead, Maximilian.
And then I'm gonna get out, y'all. This is the first time I'm gonna agree with Volvo. CD, you from Nigeria. You're the type person that makes
No,
it
I'm not Nigerian.
wherever you from in Africa, bro. You the type person that makes people don't like foreigners. You coming up with these preconceptions about if you don't like it, I'm gonna go your ass back. So my point is, if you sound just like a white supremacist. Black people do this. Black people do this. Black, you know your ass is black too. So when they judge, when they pull you over and they look at black people that way, looking at you the same way. Stop talking about your people that way. Especially when you come into a country. Talk, man, let me finish. Especially let me finish. It
No, I'm
takes a
not
lot of
talking.
it takes a lot of balls to come to somebody else's country and talk down on their people. That really does. If I went to Nigeria, if I went to the Congolese and say where anywhere I went in Africa and I talk like that, they would probably ask me to leave immediately. So, and I think that a person like you sound like a white person. You have no value in Pan Africanness. Because if the only thing you're gonna do is find bad things to say about black people, brother, you're not serving their purpose. I can go to your country right now and show you 20 billion different things wrong with your country. But now
Okay,
at the
can I
same time,
respond?
now I'm gonna finish. Yes, does America have a crime problem? We got some YNs around here. We need to deal with the YNs. But don't act like that. When it's called social economics. Social economics. You show me poverty, and I'll show you crime. Every time, white, blue, green, or yellow. If people don't have resources, they gonna find resources. That's just a rule to anywhere you go. It's not black. It's not white. You can go to Russia right now, and if they ain't got no money in that little neighborhood, they're gonna be robbing and stealing, bro. So you can now don't sell me that
Exactly.
bullshit. So
And
that's
All
my
right,
remember
point.
let me
this too,
respond.
though.
Let
We
me
got some
respond.
YCs. We
Let me
got some young
respond.
crackers too.
Can I
Right.
respond?
We got some young Latinos and young
Yeah, can I
Chinks and
respond?
young
But
whatever else
yeah,
too around
thank
here.
you.
We ain't taking all the crime. We ain't doing that.
Thank you, brother, for I really, that was very professional way of addressing me. I really like that. Yeah, I mean, you have to understand who am I, right? I have almost 80% of my friends in America, specifically in New York, are African Americans, right? Maybe 20 or 30% African, right? The issue that we're talking about right now is not the matter of saying that I'm talking against African Americans. Yesterday, I spoke specifically about Nigerians, the crime the Nigerians are committing in Nairobi, Kenya, right? When I go to Kenya in Nairobi, I specifically said that yesterday. I show myself as African American because African Americans are the most respected black in Africa, but they are the least respected American in America. So when I'm in Nairobi, because of all West African look the same, the Kenyan police think that I'm Nigerian, even though I have my West African passport. But I'll always show my American passport just to make sure that I'm safe because they think I'm Nigerian. And that based on what? The statistics in Nairobi, the Nigerians tend to commit more problem for the Kenyans. So they think all West African are Nigerian, right? The worst thing you want to call any West African is, are you Nigerian? No, a West African want to be Nigerian. And we have to address the reality, the reality, the fact. I'm not speaking against African American. I'm saying things that negatively affecting our neighborhood
It
in
sure
general,
sounds. It sure sounds like it.
right? This is what I'm addressing. Okay. I Even in Nairobi, when I'm there, I hang out with African Americans. I hang out with African too. But the worst,
Can I just say something quickly to City? I think I've heard you talk for a long time. You tend to link criminal activity as if it's a race characteristics. I really want to bring that up because you're saying Nigerians are doing this in Kenya, Black Americans are doing. You seem to forget all the context that these people are existing in and just brush that aside and say, you know what, these people are committing crime because something within their culture, something within their biological makeup is what's the problem. Something within what they, rather than actually looking at the bigger picture,
I'm out,
always
y'all.
look at the
Peace.
bigger picture. What is happening economically in Nigeria that's making people end up desperate to find any way to make it survive? What does it make happening within the Black American community that forces some of our people to get to these extreme measures? Nobody is born with the desire to be a criminal, but you're kind of the way you're saying your point, it's almost like, no, it's the character flaw of these people. It is nothing to do with how the economies are running, what systems are in place that's stopping these people from thriving, setting up businesses. No, it's just them. So I really just want to pull you up on that,
okay, but
respectfully.
let me give you the reason I mentioned the Nigerians in Nairobi is it makes no sense for a mature guy where there's so many ladies for 10 or 15 guys to go and rape a young girl. I see that in Nairobi. It makes no sense for you to have sex with someone and end up killing that person. It makes no sense. There's no economic reason will make you to kill someone, to take someone's life. Nothing is beyond that. Once I see you going after someone's life, I will always mention that. I'm not specifically talking about African American. The Nigerian, the crime that he commit in West Africa, it worse than any crime that you ever think of in America. And all these French speaking, if I go to Guinea, no Guinean want to identify himself with Nigerian. If I go to Sierra Leone, if I go to Liberia, if I go to Ghana or Abidjan, nobody want to see the Nigerian. But people will always think that, oh, they speak against Nigerian because of their achievement. I don't think so. If you look at the population of Nigeria, proportion to their achievement is nothing. But if you look at the population of Nigeria, proportion to the crime that they commit, it's worse. It's terrible.
I think you're really continuing the same argument. So you're trying to say it is because they're Nigerian that there's something's wrong with them. that the culture is the one that is at fault rather than what is happening in the environment. Because don't forget, it is the environment that makes us.
No, I don't think so.
What is it in the environment of the country that has failed that forces people to think this is okay?
But why is it that in Africa, the most successful Africans are the Nigerian? The other people, they went through this same system. When I came to
I'm not
America,
saying,
how
I'm
did I
saying that
sponsor myself?
you need to look at what is happening in Nigeria that's making people think those kind of behaviors are okay, rather than saying it is because of their biological or culture background. That's what all I'm saying.
Okay, but then now if you look at Nigeria in general, on the northern part of Nigeria, there's more crime on the northern part of Nigeria than any other part of Nigeria. But you will not see the
And
northern.
why is that? Why is the crime there? So you need to say, what is in the environment that is fostering this behavior? You need
But
to
that
start
has
giving
nothing
me
to
a
do.
point.
But that had nothing to do with the east side of
No,
Nigeria.
for you to
Nigeria,
dismiss that as saying that it's something to do with just them being of this particular group or ethnicity, no.
Yeah, basically, CD, people are asking you to use some critical thinking skills and not just think surfacely. I mean, I don't know when will you be satisfied when no one is ever committing a crime? Let's just be honest. Crime exists, evil exists. We can talk till we're blue in the face about these random crimes that happen. We all won't be just free of crime unless you're just waiting for Jesus to come back and purify everyone's soul. I mean, it's just a non-argument.
yeah, but they would do.
And the thing is, this is the way black people talk about other black people. You never hear white people that have committed genocides across the globe on black and brown people to say, you know what, it's because of their whiteness they do that. They'll come up with, oh, you know, there was no resources in Europe. They're good at conquering. They had the best weapon. We always make it, but when it comes to us, it is because of the blackness. I'm ready to call out that nonsense.
I don't see white people committing genocide in Africa. I don't see that happening. It's not happening.
Oh, you don't know what happened in Namibia? Are you okay? I don't think you've read up on history. How old are you?
Namibia?
White people commit genocide right now in Ukraine.
What is
They're
genocide?
fighting over there in Ukraine and
White
Ukraine and
people are
Russia.
committing
But can I speak to
genocide
the?
in Israel,
Yeah, can I speak to the
Australia.
to the topic? Donald Trump confronts him. How did it go? I think it was I think that was a good meeting. I gained a lot of clarity what was going on. Both of them came out with good prefaces. Donald Trump prefaced that he was going to talk about the white genocide, and Ramaphosa spoke about how he came to America to restart the new trade negotiations. And when Donald Trump went into the spiel with the video of the certain party that was doing the chants and stuff, I feel like Ramaphosa had a good like rebuttal to it, and he ended up changing Trump's tone by the end of the meeting. Like he was calling it a genocide at first, but by the end of the conversation, he was no longer calling it a genocide. But he did back while he was just saying, we are going to accept people that are like we always do, who are refugees and is experiencing persecution. And yeah, I felt like I gained a bunch of clarity. They are negotiating. They're trying to get some trade going, and we got an answer to if it's a white genocide going on in South America. He didn't deny it, but he just said there is crime going on all over, like white and black. Let's not just point out that it's white. But we have been letting in South African refugees for the past 30 years. So now we just open it up for white South Afrikaners. And I feel like if you was listening to what they were saying, it was pretty clear. If you wasn't trying to interpret it to be bad or interpret it another way, because he played it unedited from Forbes, and we was getting it straight from out of their mouth. So yeah, that's what I like to say.
Go ahead, Bang. Meet yourself, Bang.
Man, how y'all doing, man?
Good.
Man, first of all, South Africa is, you guys over here,
using Donald Trump talking points, right? Donald Trump just did a trip to the Middle East, right? He when he went to the Saudi Arabia, right? He met up the Syrian president, the current Syrian president, right? Which was an Al Qaeda. They used to, you know what I'm saying, like take people's heads off and stuff like that. He had what I think a 10 million bounty on him by the US government.
He did.
So yeah, so when he's claiming genocide, that guy is an Al Qaeda, Islamic terrorist. So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. Okay, let's look at what's going on within the last 2 years. Israel and Palestine, right? Whatever side you pick, I don't care whatever side you pick. But you know
Christian Syrians are getting genocided in Syria with this new president.
Going on right now in, you know what I'm saying, like Palestine. If the ICC court saying that the Israel president is guilty, and then he traveled to the European countries, and then the ICC court did not even arrest him at all. So what's the point of the ICC court then? I mean, there's current genocide going on right now. You just got to go to, you know, on the internet. You're going to find it. First of all, South Africa belongs to the Black South Africans. Eventually, they're going to take it. So whatever these so-called white South Africans, they call themselves Afrikaners, whatever they want to attach themselves in African land, when they are white Europeans, they came in and conquered the people and took over the land. I think they own about 90% of the land. Think about it. How 10% of the people own 90% of the land? That makes sense. Man. They were supposed to give back the land to the Black South Africans. They didn't. It's still within the law for the government of South Africa to hand back the land to the Black people. So you see what I'm trying to say? So eventually, the Black South Africans are going to take over. The white South Africans control South Africa in and out, economy-wise, everything. So how's the genocide when you own the economy?
Exactly.
They completely own the economy, completely. And then it's like some of these Black folks in America always nowadays I'd say about 70%, about 70, you know, good 75% of them nowadays want to use a white man talking points, and then they got the nerve to talk about Africa. If you don't know enough about Africa, just stay away from it. Certain topics, I don't talk about it, like religion. I only talk about religion to serious people. Because, you know what I'm saying, like religion is very personal to certain people. So I don't have time to come to social media and talk about religion. You know what I'm trying to say? But for you to come out here using a white man talking points about South Africa, when the white Europeans came to South Africa and took over the people's land, killed them, murdered them for years, you telling me in Africa, which is our land, we not gonna take it back? You crazy.
Yeah,
you see what's going on in West Africa. You see what's going on in Ivory Coast. We coming for these people, man.
Ivory Coast, yeah, is having a coup, so yeah, good
we coming
point.
from these people. They know we coming for them. So some of y'all Black Americans, right?
There's no coup in Ivory Coast.
No, it's trust me, Dinus. Wait until the next 24 hours. Just keep on it. Just keep on it until the next 24 hours.
Yeah, the internet is down in Ivory Coast. Something's going on, man.
Exactly. So forget what Donald Trump wants to say about his people, whatever. I understand it, you know, because at the end of the day, it's all about power and control. But at the end of the day, Africa belongs to Africans. You're not going to suppress people for years, and then you telling me they're not going to try to fight back. Did you not watch the video? Think about it. Look how big South Africa is. What are you talking about? These people own 90% of the land. 90% in and out of the economy is owned by white people. Because you know what? They had help from the European banks. I think the BIS bank, the British bank. That's how they got on South Africa. So now all of these people want to talk about genocide. This is a genocide going on right now, supported by the U.S. government. Come on now, yeah, it's all over social media. Whatever side you picked up, you can't say that's not a genocide.
Yeah, that's why I believe
you can't say it's a genocide. The ICC court approves it, saying it's a genocide.
Oh my God,
the ICC court that's owned by the white people. The ICC court is a court that's for that's basically made for like African presidents to be arrested and thrown in jail. That's all it is. If the ICC court could come out and find their president guilty, what does that tell you about? Africa will be back to the Africans eventually, like it or not. Like it or not. For Black Americans coming up here, like the dude yesterday, right? He was talking about, I think he was from New York. The whole 30 to 40 minutes. That's a lot of disrespectful going on about Black Americans all over social media, this and that, right? This man acting like Black Americans don't ever disrespect Africans. This man is almost 50 years old. I'm like, of course we get it. There's some Africans, say a lot of stupid shit like this guy up here. I think his name is Sid, whatever his name is. But you can't come out here for 40 minutes talk about, oh, there's a lot of disrespectful, Africans, this and that. I'm like, come on now. But if you don't know what's going on in Africa, just stay away from it. But you cannot use a white man point in Africa and that you telling us that this and that, this and that. Africa belongs to Africans. Eventually, we're going to take it. If you don't like it, that's how it is.
Yeah, I personally I do like it. And I'm a Black American, even though it might be a radical thought. I don't really see anything wrong with South Africans forcefully taking back the land from the Boers. I think white people in general have just a higher willingness to forcefully take things, and everyone just allows it to happen, and it just goes in the history books, and we are all just forced to forget about it and not
Okay,
talk about it. So I think we should. So what's wrong with doing it today? There
what you
are
saying? What
genocides
you?
that are hold on. There are genocides that are currently happening all over the world. Why can't it be one more spot? Nah, I'm not. I'm not trying to say they should kill them all,
It's far
but
away from
but
genocide.
but
Come on, come on,
why
come on.
why
It's far
I
away
know
from that.
I
It's far away from that.
the genocide has already been debunked. Everyone
It's far
already
away from
knows
that.
there's not a
It's completely
genocide.
BS. It's
But
completely
I'm just
BS.
I'm just saying, why are we acting all sensitive about South Africans attempting to forcefully take something when this just seems like how the world works. You just forcefully take something, make them all become victims, make them sound like they're just perpetual victims, so nobody will listen to them. And then 10 years goes by and you just look like the people that were supposed to have it in the first place. That
Oh,
just seems like how everything works.
okay. Look at like the safari, right? In South Africa, in Kenya, right? You go down to all these other countries, right? It's owned by white people. Every safari in Africa is owned by white people. You got to study the history, how it becomes like that. You got to go back during the British Empire. You know what I'm trying to say? Because now you go to online, you see all these lions, cheetahs and everything, all these wildlife animals. You're like, oh wow. You see all these, people with their phones, and all these safaris is owned by white people. In Africa, you think we don't think about it, taking it back? That must be crazy. That must be crazy. Y'all the same black folks in America, and then y'all forget what the white folks did to the Indians, what I'm saying, in America. And some of y'all talking about, oh, we Indians. Okay, if y'all Indians, go attack the people that killed like what, 70% of y'all people.
Yeah,
But
and
y'all
bang,
don't
do
tell
do do you,
Africans in Africa it doesn't belong to us. Y'all must be
bang, do
crazy.
do you see how quick you were to refute that there isn't a genocide happening? That why even if it were, who cares? That's my point. Even if it was, so what?
No, genocide is bad. I
No, no,
don't, what I'm saying? I don't
okay,
condone that.
and that's exactly
Let's just
why.
push it aside.
That
The
okay,
issue
see
is
that's exactly my point.
the issue is about grabbing the land. That's what they fear about because land is power. Just like I think somebody said, why give black folks money when you could just give them the land? That's where the real power is. So these whites, so these white South Africans took over 90% of what I'm saying, like South African lands. 90% they own it because at the end of the day it was forcefully taken by what I'm saying, by these white people. So
Israel doesn't think
then if the
genocide is
rule
bad.
says, you said what?
Israel doesn't think genocide is bad.
let's just stay away from, you know what I'm saying, the Middle East, because the Middle East is different. Because you have
Okay.
the Arabs, like the Saudis, the Qatar. They're the ones actually allowing
Yeah, we're the
Israel
only
doing
one
that.
that's supposed to be just supremely virtuous.
Yeah,
Okay.
no,
Okay.
it's
I get
different,
it.
different.
I get
It's
it.
different. It's
I get
different.
it.
It's different. It's different. But at the end of the day, the white folks in South Africa are fearing eventually these land is going to be grabbed back by the people that it belonged to. They see what's going on in West Africa. They see these things slowly because the internet. Things move like this nowadays because of the internet. So they see these things. The other guy, you know what I'm saying, that lost the election, right? What's his name? Julius. He came real close to winning. Somebody came out here and talked about, oh, he ain't win nothing. The dude came real close to winning. So the white South Africans are fearing eventually somebody like Julius Malema will come in power and actually forcefully take the land by the rules of the law. Because without the land, there's no power. Every safari in Africa is not owned by Africans. Think about that. These are the same people they used to call us animals. These are the same people they used to call us monkeys. All type of animal names. They used to call us. We live on a tree. Why do you think the term Africans live on a tree? Because it's monkey. Monkeys live on a tree. So basically, that's what they're trying to say. We are monkeys. It wasn't because of black folks started using it. No, it was white people that used that. So now you go to these safaris, you go on YouTube, it's all owned by white people. Lions taken away. And then you telling us, because you live in America, using a white man view. In Africa, that must be crazy. Man, some of y'all black folks in America, man, are something else, man. Something else nowadays. Just like some of these Africans, the other African came up here a couple of days ago, trying to defend the CFA Frank, call himself Afro man. Effing buffoon. Talk about the CFA Frank is more stronger than all these West African countries. Yes, because the countries like Nigeria, they just independent. Ghana, Sierra Leone, all these other countries. So of course the CFA franc is going to be stronger than all these countries because the CFA franc is about what, like 6 or 8 African countries in the West that use the same currency. It's common sense. But you
Hey,
come up
but
here and try to defend the
you
CFA
got
franc.
Zimbabwe now. They got a
Make that make
currency
sense,
backed by
man.
gold. Yeah, but you got
Make that make
Zimbabwe now.
sense.
You got
Come
Zimbabwe.
on.
They got a currency backed by gold now.
No, no. It's backed by the dollar, man. That's just fake.
No, it
Don't worry
is.
about it.
It's backed
No,
by
no, don't worry about
gold.
it.
I
But at the end of the
researched it.
day,
It's not
Africa,
backed by the
it
dollar.
belongs to Africa. We're gonna take it because it belongs to us. Europe is belongs to the white people. We don't go out there try to take it. I would never try to go to Europe and take it because it doesn't belong to me. Africa belongs to the Africans. When we say when a black American when black Africans say Africa, we talk about the entire continent. It belongs to us. We eventually gonna take it because we were conquered people. I know that. My father was conquered. His father was conquered. His father was conquered. That's why we in the same. That's why we are in the same position. But me, I'm gonna make sure my child is in a better position before you know what I'm saying. My time comes. You know what I'm saying. I pass out. But at the end of the day, my child is gonna continue that fight because I know how these people are. Africa belongs to the Africans. They're always in Africa because of what? Because of the wealth. They're not in Africa because they care about you. No, they care about the wealth. If they're so special, how come their so-called God did not put it in Europe then? How come he didn't put it in France? How come he didn't put it in England? How come he didn't put it in Italy? He chose to put it in Africa. So eventually, we Africans, we're going to take it. So some of these black Americans talking about 70% of them. Keep using the white man points. But at the end of the day, in Africa, we're going to take it back because it belongs to us. When something belongs to you, eventually you're going to take it back. You see what's going on with these 3 countries. You see how popular what's his name is? Ibrahim. All over the internet. My aunt says, "Oh, who's this guy?" My aunt doesn't even watch the news. Oh, I was shocked she know about him. I said, "God damn, how do you know about this dude?" It's a disease. It's a good disease. It was spread all over West Africa. We're gonna kick out these people, man. We're not crazy. We've been down for too long, man. Over 500 years. You telling me we're gonna suffer again for another 100 years? That must be crazy. Talking about
No,
genocide.
I agree. I agree. What I like about South Africa is I see that they're training a lot of the young black people in agriculture. That's one thing that I've seen in social media. A lot of their young people are they don't just study it, but they major in it. In college and stuff. So and given the 15, 20 years, they'll have a huge crop of young farmers who can take over that land and who can actually grow crops, grow chickens, grow cows, grow livestock. You know what I mean? And then they'll become a food secure country. Or they can maintain their food secure status.
Yeah, of
And then
course,
just
yeah.
continue to grow their economy. You know what I mean? Like that's one thing I do like about South Africa. They're thinking about the future.
I mean, it's funny how we talk about this, right? About 3 or 4 months ago, or about 6 months ago. So I was talking to a family of mine, right? So I said, look, man, when we fix West Africa, right, eventually, right, South Africa gonna be last. Because I know South Africa gonna be last. I know eventually the South Africans, the black ones, they will take what belongs to them. It trust me. Because I looked at it, I said, at the end of the day, because South Africa wasn't ready. South Africa wasn't ready. They got super comfortable. It's just like, the black folks in America, right? They've gotten super comfortable, especially like what I'm saying, like the 90s, the early 90s, what I'm saying, like the 2000s and stuff like that, right? They've gotten so comfortable within the last 30 years. The white man has made them look like they winning. But, behind closed door, they not winning. So it's like what I'm saying, like a mind trick play on them. So like now it's like they finally waking up a little bit. They realize, oh shit, we've been too goddamn comfortable. But instead of them really attacking who they're supposed to, some of them wants to attack immigrants. I mean, you look at it, right? Let's say immigrant right now. Let's say about 20 million, what I'm saying, like immigrants, right? Don't have no paper, right? What's the percent of them they Africans? I say about 5%. The 95% will be Latinos or somewhere in South America. But instead of them attacking those people, they don't want to attack those people. About 80% of the time, they attack the Africans, which make no goddamn sense. Africans have no power in this country. There's no city or state that controlled by somebody that came from Africa.
All right, that's not true. You have Minnesota, and then you have North Dakota. North Dakota has a large percentage of
I'm talking
Nigerians,
about power
and
wise in the city.
Minnesota
No, no,
has
no,
a
no, 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 no,
large,
no, 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 no.
extremely.
Come on now,
Yeah,
come
let
on
me
now.
finish what I'm saying. Minnesota has an extremely big Somalian and Sudanese East African population, and it's very influential. They're very influential in the state, and then their politics and stuff, and economy.
Come on now.
Yeah, and I
You
and I think it's important not to sensationalize the anti-African rhetoric that happens
no.
online and think that that's how it happens in the real world. I went to Howard University. The Africans there mingle with the Black Americans perfectly fine. This
I
is
live in
just
DC.
something that lives
I know what she's
online.
saying. I live in DC.
Yeah.
Man, I'm super familiar with Howard. Super, super, super familiar with Howard. But at the end of the day, it's just how constantly, like what I'm saying, like just like I mentioned about the other dude, right? Yesterday, a couple days ago, right? This dude spent about 40 minutes talking about disrespect, right? But then he forget that. What about all over the internet? Tariq made a song about making fun of Africans, the government. He made a song about calling us bush babies. When you ever see African come up with a song talking about Black Americans? But then this dude, almost a 50-year-old man, he's not somebody is like, let's say, early 20s. Just, don't give a fuck. Live, what I'm saying? Like, live with his mom and stuff like that. Or whatever, just about their life. This man is almost 50 years old. So what's that tell you what he tell his kids? I mean, you
Well,
have
look,
black
I'll say
Americans
this. I'll say this.
making
Okay, look.
song about Africans. Think about it.
Well,
Making
look,
fun of
bruh. Let
us.
me
Not
let me
very
say this.
one-sided.
Let me say this. Let me say this. Here's what y'all don't, what Africans don't realize. Now, look, I'm pro Africa. Okay, African. I want Africa to succeed. I want Africa to flourish, and and all of that. I want all the countries to be successful and developed and all of that. But the thing is, y'all will never do that if so many of y'all keep getting on these airplanes and you want to come to the West all the time. Y'all don't want to, y'all don't really want to build up Africa. Too many of y'all people see want to come to the West and stay in the West permanently. See, when you look at the Japanese, okay, during the Meiji restoration, okay, in the 1850s, when Japan industrialized, they sent their young, bright scholars to universities all over the world, including America, to study industrialization. And then after they had studied, they brought them back to Japan in order to industrialize Japan. Okay, they did not just stay once they went to the West. And a lot of those people, when they would go to the West, they would actually become westernized. They would wear Western clothing. They would hang out in Western clubs and stuff. They did all the social things in the West, but when they understood that once they got their degree, it was time to go back to Japan and build up Japan. And Africans don't get that memo for whatever reason. I don't understand why. Why can't they just send their young? I think Traore is he's on to something, because he's sending a lot of the young Burkina Faso people to go to Russia to study, and then he's bringing them back with the intention of bringing them back to Burkina Faso to build up Burkina Faso. But it's like with West Africans, y'all have this mindset where y'all want to go to the West and you want to stay in the West. You have no
Okay,
interest, and
okay,
that's a
okay,
problem. So
okay.
that needs to be addressed.
You just answered your question because you use Traore as an example of what he's doing. So, which means now you saying a president has a purpose of taking his students or his bright people, taking them to a country where they could learn a trade or something, and then bring it back to their country. So then, if you say, let's say, another president in some West African country, he or she's not gonna do that. So you understand? So you see where you know, the agenda is totally messed up. Those people you talking about, 95% of the time was probably set up by the Japan government and give them everything and make sure they come back. Just like China
Yeah.
did it. China did it. Every country has done it. You know what I'm
Yeah,
trying to say? But
I think the
but
students are
but then
indebted to come
but then
back.
but then when it was done by the government, or they had you know what I'm saying,
Right.
a governing body that makes sure these students they supposed to come back. So so your example is totally different from what we trying to say.
Yeah, if you just take a West African and by his own will and desire, he goes to America and tries to better himself. He's not indebted to a president or, a country that's gonna make sure that he comes back. So whenever you come to America, you fall into American traps, the consumerist society, the debt society, and then they find themselves here with all this debt and these things that they need to pay back, and the only way that they can pay it back is through American dollars. So they have to stay here, keep the jobs in order to pay off their lifestyle that they gained while they were over here. I think they get trapped. They don't just decide to stay.
Yeah, but it's different if my family sponsor me to come to America than the government sponsor me to come to America for better education, or at least try to get an advanced education in certain things that my country don't have. You understand? So it's totally different. It's not the same. You know what I'm saying?
No,
It's
I
not the
don't think it's
same.
I know it's not the
It's
same.
totally different. So that's why I was trying to tell him. Totally different. That's why we see Africans are so excited about this man. We are excited for a reason. You know what I'm trying to say? Plenty of time we constantly say the government for a reason. We're not saying it just to say it. We're saying it for a reason because the government is what leads you to what the country is supposed to be. The government is what visualize how the country is supposed to be within the next couple of years and the future. So you have you know what I'm saying, a government that's set up like that, and then he or she is giving you an example, it's actually proving it to you. So eventually you're just gonna attach yourself to that government. So when we keep constantly talking about the government, once again, somebody made a song about us. But then when somebody needs help to buy a car, who the hell he goes to? Goes
Okay,
to
yeah,
a
but see,
bank.
here's the problem. Here's the problem. Here's
Who's
what I'm trying to say
listen?
is
Hold on,
that
hold on,
there
hold
needs to
on.
be a culture in Africa
Listen. Oh my, hold on. Let me
where there
finish.
needs to be
Let
okay,
me
go ahead.
finish. Let me finish. When somebody wants to buy a car, goes to a bank for fund the money. Who set up that system? The government. When somebody wants to buy a house, goes to a bank. Who fund that system? The government. When somebody wants to open up a business, who fund that system? The government. So you understand? And then these are the same people in America calling us the government, the government. Make it make sense. That's just that's just like you being a grown ass man try to argue with somebody that's still in high school. It doesn't
You
Well,
make
our
can't make
sense.
it
our
make
Okay,
sense if you
well let
just
me say
ramble
this.
our
Let
on.
me say this.
governments don't give us houses. Banks do. They're not.
No, the
They're
bank set up
independent.
a system. The government set up the structure of that system. That's what I'm trying to
All right,
say.
now
No, no,
here's
you
what
can
you need to
start a bank
understand. Now
today if you want.
here's what he needs to understand. All right, you see, us as Black Americans, okay, a lot of us are pro African. We just want y'all to stay in y'all countries and build up y'all own countries. Y'all don't do what a lot of y'all do is way too many y'all want to come to the West. You want to integrate with the West, and it creates complications with us here in the West because what happens is you guys just end up creating a buffer class, and that makes it harder for us to get stuff done. That's why blacks in the US are supporting they end up supporting anti-immigrant legislation and stuff. That's why. And if you look at Trump, he's cracking down on these Nigerians. I mean, he's getting thousands. Just this last few weeks he's getting
Okay.
thousands of Nigerians out
Let
of
me
the
ask you this
country.
question. Let me ask you a
And
question.
Thousands.
anti,
And
to
the
double the
Let me ask
Nigerian
you
line.
a question.
government, they don't really trade with the US like that, so they don't have
Let
no
me ask you a question.
leverage. All they can do is just agree to accept these people. That's it. They can't do
Okay,
anything,
okay, okay,
you know.
okay. Let me ask you a
So
question.
let me ask you this. Why has Nigeria had a system where they send all their people to a country that they have no strategic leverage against?
Okay,
They're just
okay.
going to end up having
Let
to
me
accept all these people back in X amount of years, and that's what's happening now.
let me answer your question, right? You see, y'all biggest issue, right? When y'all want to talk about immigration stuff, right? Which 100% you have the right to talk about immigration. And then I don't approve anybody just come through freely, you know what I'm saying? Like, what I'm saying, in America or somebody else's country. It's always better, what I'm saying, like go through the legal system, right? 100%. I always approve that. You understand? Okay. Now check this out, right? Why would somebody wants to leave their country? Why would somebody just all of a sudden just pack their stuff and say, F this? I'm gonna travel to this country for what I'm saying? I'm gonna save my money up and then I'm gonna just try to walk, go through like whatever I have to go through and stuff like that, right?
I
So
don't think
it
it
comes
really
back.
matters.
No, it matters.
It
It matters
doesn't,
because
especially if you're like politically engaged,
um
and that has nothing to do with your political engagement.
no. You trying to switch it. Don't switch it, please. When somebody wants to do the right, and then it comes back to opportunity. Opportunity comes back to economy. You understand, right? Okay. So when y'all want to talk about immigrants, right? Y'all don't want to look at the bigger picture. The bigger picture is y'all federal government. What does y'all federal government does in other people countries?
It gives them money to come over here
Oh,
and get
so be quiet,
education.
be quiet, be quiet. You see,
That's what they do.
that's
I've
just
explained this in multiple of his videos.
you see how you taking it? You see, I told
Does the
you.
Rockefeller Foundation not have scholarship
Oh my
programs
God, you
for
see?
kids to study in America?
Okay,
from Africa?
okay.
Do they
You see
not
how you
have
just
programs
skip
to build up
everything what
small
your federal
business in
government
Africa?
does in other people countries? You just swipe that apart. That's like me coming to America and telling you that slavery never happens. That's like me saying, okay, in America
I'm
everything is
not
equal.
denying anything didn't happen. I'm actually doing the opposite. I'm saying it that this exists.
No, you're missing a point. Just like I told you, your federal government goes to other people countries and makes sure these countries do not develop. It is done on purpose.
Yeah,
It's
but at
not
the
done
same
because
time, we also give you
hold on.
money to go get education.
You
Two
see?
things can be true.
Oh my God. No. That's BS. That's BS. That's BS. That's BS,
No, no,
man.
no,
That's
no.
BS.
Just
You live in a capital
babbling is
system.
BS.
You live in a capital system. Let me give you an example, right? In DC, right? I live in DC. Like a couple months ago, right? My what you would call it, right? My friend, right? My Black American friend, right? He called me up. He said, "Yo, can't believe what the mayor, the DC mayor government is doing." I said, "What?" He's like, "Man, this goddamn mayor is giving out scooters to these Latinos." I said, "For real?" And then you come out this, so you come out, you see all these Latinos on scooters doing food delivery, right? With the scooters, what I'm saying, like with the bikes. I said, "Wow." I said, "How the hell is she gonna do that for?" So a couple months ago, what I'm saying, like a couple months passed by, I finally thought about it real well. I said, "Hold on, why the f would a mayor give scooters to Latinos just to do, what I'm saying, like food delivery and bikes?" So then when it comes to reality, what the mayor was doing, she was giving these bikes to these people to do food delivery. You look at the company, right? You look at DoorDash, you look at Uber Eats, right? You look at all these, food delivery companies, right? Who owns it? White person owns it. So basically, what the white man did was pay the DC government and say, give these free scooters, what I'm saying, to these illegal, immigrants so they can bust their ass and work. So then I could pay them cheap and make more money. See, you understand? So what these companies did, they gave
So the
money to these.
illegal immigrants work for Uber, not the legal ones. I just want to clarify.
Man, they don't have papers. You could just come through and then they just give you the paper and stuff like
And
that.
ain't you cap. I live in DC. That didn't happen. That didn't happen. We do got
Are you serious,
programs.
man? You
We do
serious, man?
got programs for the shared mopeds,
You
but
serious?
it's
You
not for
telling me in
Migos.
DC? You telling me
It's not
in
only for
DC?
Migos, it's for
There's not a bunch
anybody.
of Latinos on bikes.
But anybody can get it though. If they
Okay,
decided to go and do it, it's not because of the
okay,
mayor made them do it.
okay,
They
okay.
decided to
Why would
drive
listen,
motherfucking mopeds.
listen,
But
You're
they
missing the
getting
point.
cleaned up. They getting cleaned up. We've been getting
Why
them
would
cleaned
a
off the streets
corporation?
since January, since Trump came in
Why
office.
would a corporation?
All of it's being repealed since we don't have
Did
the
you do
illegal
the research
immigrants.
to see why they were giving Latino scooters? It
They
Why
could
would a
weren't,
be probably a
corporation, right?
part of one of those
Okay,
programs I
listen.
was speaking of earlier.
but they
Okay.
weren't
Why
giving
would a
them.
corporation
It was like a
allow?
program for anybody if you have a valid driver's license.
There are programs for anybody, but there are also programs specifically catered to certain immigrant populations. You have programs for Chinese people who are
Yeah,
immigrating over
but
here.
this
You have
program wasn't
programs for
one of those.
Nigerians or
Yeah, but
Why
this
would a
Africans or
program
any
wasn't one of
corporation
specific group
those.
in
allow
general. They're
people?
Yeah, but this
established by
program wasn't one
European
of
governments
those.
and they're established by the African business class. So,
Yeah, but
like, we
this
have to
program
acknowledge
wasn't
that
one of
those
those.
exist as well.
This program was through DDOT, so
Why
it
would a
wasn't one of
corporation,
those. I
right?
live in DC, like I stated before. Like this program that he's speaking of never existed. It's just through DDOT. Anybody could get it.
I'm not lying to you. Why would a corporation approves it? A corporation in America, right? Remember that it's capitalism. So
A
if I get these
corporation
people,
or
right?
what corporation?
Uber Eats, DoorDash, all these companies, you know what I'm saying, like all these delivery companies, right? Why would they approve that and allow just anybody on scooters, on bikes, just go deliver and pay them cheap?
Dang, what the hell does this have
So
to
I guess
do
my
with
quick
Yeah, what
question
do this
is:
got to
I'm in
do
are
with
you
the
saying
topic,
they're
man?
going to
Like
these communities
we
and
just had
giving
a
them the
1
stuff
hour.
specifically?
No, the point is,
We just watched a whole hour interview that's talking about
the point
South
is, right?
Africa. Now we
It's
talking
to
about
pay these
Uber
people
and
cheap
DoorDash
so they can
and Nigeria
so
and
then
fucking
they can make more
Bengali.
money. That's
Like
what
how
y'all
we
don't
get all these
understand.
other places? How we get
That's
all
what
these
y'all don't
other places when
understand.
we talk about
Because the
South
cheaper they
Africa?
pay these people, the more money they can make. Y'all don't really,
Man,
man.
talking about
Y'all not
bullshit.
looking
And
at the
the
bigger
more money
picture.
they can make, what does that lead to? I'm just trying to get a
What's that lead
conclusion.
to, right? The Americans don't have enough money, don't have
Talking about
enough
some more
jobs,
shit,
like
bro.
a more better
Shut the
job.
fuck
That's
up,
why I keep
bro.
saying.
Dang.
Okay.
Thank you for your opinion. We greatly appreciate your contribution. Anyway, I think what really is the problem is when it comes to Africans talking about what's going on in America, they don't acknowledge the fact that not every African population is classified as a refugee. A lot of these people are classified as economic immigrants, and they benefit from programs and systems that are already in place to help them migrate over here and make it be relatively easy for them. Some of them get offered housing for up to a year to 2 years. Some of them get a monthly stipend of $5,000. So, and it's not just Africans, it's Latinos, it's Asians, and there's just different networks established for them. The reason why Black Americans don't have this type of network is because we don't have a country backing us. So, but the reality is, focusing on Black Americans and making it about Black Americans are divisive and looking at the flaws in Black Americans' culture is just going to make Black Americans more apathetic about what's going on in Africa. And that is what the white man needs in order for them to do what they want to do. So if you really cared about Africa, you wouldn't be trying so hard to make Black Americans out to be the villain, because really we're just minding our own business in our own country, and everything that you said we're doing, we're responding to. None of it is originated from Black Americans. We didn't just come out of nowhere talking about Africans are this and Africans are that.
Oh, okay. First of all, half of what you just said is completely BS. Completely BS. Just like
but you
hold
can't
on.
even actually attack a point.
You spoke.
Attack a point.
Let me
No,
talk.
because
Right?
you babble. You just babble.
Oh,
I'm tired of British people
you spoke.
babbling.
You spoke, and I say something. Can I talk, please? Even
And let
if you might
Leroy
disagree
talk,
with it.
man. You've been talking for an hour. Go ahead, Leroy.
I haven't talked at all.
I appreciate that.
Okay, Leroy, go ahead. Let me hear you some more.
That.
Go ahead, Leroy. I shut up.
Back to the video. I feel like damn, I lost it. Okay, here it is. Yeah, man, it was. If y'all was watching the video, if we keep going off all these tangents, the meeting that they had, I feel it was very productive. They addressed the main points that's going on in the media, and it wasn't so emotionalized. You know what I mean? How we keep trying to make it be. Trump came with the big video presentation about how he's believing it's a genocide, and the president of South Africa rightfully backed that it's not a genocide. White people are dying, and black people are dying even more. And he made that point very. He made it very clear. So I don't know how we keep getting all these other things out of what happened in this meeting, and they're working on trade. I don't think it just needs to be all this craziness about what just happened. It's not a white genocide. So by the end of the meeting, Trump was no longer calling it a genocide. They even questioned him. They said, "What is it going to take for you to learn that it's not a genocide?" Trump they answered it, and then he even the president of South Africa passed it to his constituents that's from South Africa. I guess they golf or something, and they spoke about their family, how their family be going through things, but they wouldn't call it a genocide. So by the end of this meeting, if we was watching it with clear eyes, not trying to interpret it one way or another, they addressed all of the claims. It's not a genocide going on, but there are white farmers getting murdered, and there is a person in parliament that is saying to kill white people, and the president is not with that. He's not with killing white people. He's totally against it. He's against that small party. And I feel like it's good that he addressed it. He addressed it all concise and clear. People may be mad that he went against that small political party, but him and his constituents spoke and they said that's a small party. We have one on both sides. We got white people that do that too. We got a black party that do that. So I feel like it was addressed, and yeah, it's clear as day what's going on. And I'm glad that they cleared it up.
Yeah, and I'm and like I stated earlier, I hope I hope they would just lie to Donald Trump's face and go ahead and go back to South Africa and do what they need to do. Because Donald Trump, he can't sit there and act like he's so anti-genocide. Meanwhile, he's backing Israel's genocide of Gaza so he can build a Trump hotel on the coast. I don't really care if South Africa is committing genocide. I'm gonna be honest with you.
I mean, U.S. government is the one funding what's going on in over there. So if the U.S. government is the one that's funding it,
How do we
so
fund it?
then what gives Amer- Donald Trump to accuse black South Africans of that when there's barely no evidence of that?
No, but how are we funding what's going over on in South Africa?
I'm not talking about South Africa. I'm talking about the Middle East.
Well,
Oh, okay,
he
okay, okay,
Because
okay.
but what he just said. That's why you see once again, and
No, I was asking. It was a question. It wasn't a fact, a statement, or anything. It was a question.
Okay. I know, man. I know where you're coming from.
No, I mean, we do endorse the war over there, though. Trump definitely endorses the war and claims that he will come to Israel's defense. Israel deserves to defend itself. That's basically, I mean, I don't know if we're funding
Yeah,
it, but we
everything you're saying is
definitely are
true. I
defending
agree.
it.
I mean, that's like me coming to America and saying everything is equal. Everything was equal, between white folks and black folks. Everything was totally equal. There was no difference in economy power and everything like that.
So
And
what's
then
like you
and then you
come into
believe in it.
America and everything's equal? What is
I'm
this
talking about economy wise,
metaphor?
like I'm like
Yeah, but
that's
you
what I'm
said
trying to say.
this is like you coming over to America and saying everything's equal. What is like that? What are you
Yeah,
anteceding?
you making horrible analogies, bro. Like, what
I'm
are you
saying,
trying to say?
okay. Check this out, right? In this country, like it or not, white folks control this country. That's what I'm trying to say. They control
What
this country,
country you
especially
in?
America. White, what I'm saying? Like white folks control America.
Which
Like it
white
or not.
folks?
I'm saying white folks.
Which ones?
White Americans control America.
I don't know if you know this. White Americans are segregated too. So the ones that control America are the Irish, the German, and the
If
English.
you control America, you got money. Just put it that way. You got money. We talking about the super elites.
Okay, so the
That's
white,
what we talking about
the
when we say the
English, the
people that control
German.
this country. We're not talking about the 80% or the 90%. We talking about like maybe like the 2% that control this country. That's what we talking about. But at the end of the day, they about 95 or 98% are white, or almost 99 are white. You understand?
What's your point?
No.
My point
No.
is okay. My point is this, right? There's a reason why it was set up like that. It's not set up like that because of black folks in America are lazy or black folks in America don't want to do nothing. No, it was a system that was set up like that. Make sure
What the
white folks
fuck? What
control this
about the
country.
meeting today in
We already know this.
what about the tough meeting today about the white genocide in South Africa?
Yeah.
You said what?
What about the meeting today? You know, it's not an FBA Pan African argument space. Like, this is about a topic that we talking about. You know, it's got a title right there. You know what I mean?
I understand, but
so talk
that,
about the topic, bro. You keep going on
the
these
topic
tangents.
is connect back to race,
bruh.
You can't
you keep talking
you
about
cannot talk about this topic if you don't include race in it.
You're talking about the U.S. though. Like every example, every model that everyone uses is about the U.S. That's the problem. It's like you guys are using this situation to project your xenophobia, and that's what we have an issue with.
I mean, ain't y'all the same one? Sometimes when y'all talk about America, y'all put race in it, right? If I'm not mistaken, y'all said America.
No, we don't put race in it. The immigrants who moved to America put race in it.
Okay, so
They
you telling
use
me black
race to
folks
hide
don't?
their immigrant background so that they don't
Hold
get
on.
discriminated against.
Hold on. So you saying what you saying? America is not a race country at all.
I'm saying if a white man was running around talking about I'm proud to be Irish, he's going to be treated differently from the other whites.
Oh my God. I can't believe what you just said. But anyway, we already
Why
know this
not? There
America
were
is.
slaves over here too. Indentured servants. Yes,
We all know
they could
what
get their freedom. Huh?
We all know what America is. You know what I'm trying to say. I live in DC. You know what I'm saying. I used to live in Ohio. I've seen what's the difference. You know what I'm trying to say. But at the end of the day, if you want to put it like that, they just put. You could go ahead and put it like that. But
No,
I know for
the reason
sure
why I put it
America
like
is a
that is
country.
because from a scientific mind point, you're supposed to create a situation where you can answer these types of questions. Your explanation doesn't answer these types of questions. They
You
don't talk
just
about
said.
how whites interact with
You
people.
just said.
They don't talk
You
about any of that.
you cannot talk about the situation if you're not talking about race, my friend.
No, race is pseudo. It's ethnicity. It's always been about ethnicity. When people from Africa come over here, they're not coming from everywhere.
Okay. Let's just put it this way: white South Africans and black South Africans.
Yeah, so the
You
white
agree with
South
me?
Africans, the colors, the Indians, and then you got the Dutch, which is what white is split between Dutch and they're split between English. They all have a different relationship with the country, and that's stuff that people need to know. So if we're going to talk about it, we might as well educate everybody on it. And if we don't have the answers in front of us, look it up and see what it means and postulate on that instead of just recycling the same opinions over and over again that people have already heard.
So you saying we shouldn't talk about this topic if we are including race in it or ethnic, right? We should just say, oh,
It's too
like
general, and that you have to include ethnicity. Like when people say,
when
"Oh,
we okay,
Black Americans commit,"
listen.
what?
Listen. Don't tell me to talk about South Africans. Me being an African, and you telling me I shouldn't put race in it. Come on now.
No, you being
Come on,
a.
no, no,
Are
no,
you
no, no, no,
South
no, no, no,
African?
nah. Don't we start that BS, man. Don't we start that BS. That's like me trying to talk about America
Start
and
what
not put you
BS?
guys in it.
You gotta be clear.
No. I
What
can't
do
talk
you
about
think I'm
American
doing?
history and not put Black Americans in it.
No one's saying you shouldn't do that.
But you telling me that if I'm talking about South Africa, about the white folks in South Africa, I should not include them in it. I should
But you're
just
not
say, oh,
talking
this and
about
that.
the white folks in South Africa. You're talking about America.
Your president.
L, talk then mute. Talk then mute, L. When you not talking, mute, because it's echoing.
Man, you said Trump is what?
No, I was saying L. I was telling L to mute when he don't talk because he's echoing.
My bad. Apologies.
Bang. So I think you were basically on a tangent about how, I guess because the white South Africans control the money in South Africa is the reason why the black South Africans haven't taken back the land or something.
It's worse than that. They control every aspect of that country economy wise. Every aspect they control it. Every aspect. So basically, when you control every aspect of a country economy wise, so you definitely gonna be wealthy. They are the worst. I mean, they are the most wealthy people in South Africa by far, by far. And then I mentioned it earlier too. They control 90% of the land. If you control 90% of the land in the country and the size like that, that's power. We talk about power now. We're not talking about, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So you dictate a lot of things. There's plenty of things you dictate when you control that massive of land.
And to give everyone perspective on it, they control 22% of the land in Africa, South Africa, to be specific.
No, no, they don't. That's BS.
Okay, scratch that. 22% of the land that
No, they
is
don't.
allowed
That's
to be
BS.
owned.
They don't
Okay, then
control.
look it up. Look it up.
They do not
Look it
control
up.
22%.
They own 22% of the land. Who do you think owns the rest of it?
They do
The
not own.
government, maybe?
They do not own. They do not, my friend.
I
Let's
mean,
just
this
let
can
me tell you
be
something.
looked
Let me tell
up.
you something, right? Just like how I said
Just look
earlier.
it up.
Just like I said earlier.
Yeah.
Eventually,
It sound like what's the source, L? Because Bang, you just rambling and he giving stats. So what's the source? Just speak to those numbers a little bit more, L, so we can get an
Okay.
understanding.
So essentially, I did research on South Africa a while back to try to understand the land thing. And the thing about it is all land isn't like publicly buyable by the African government. So of the total, so like when it comes to South Africa and how much land that can be bought, 7% white population owns about 80 to 95% of the land. But that land that they own only represents 22% of the land that South Africa actually has. So that's all I'm saying.
You just answer your own question, my friend.
I don't think that was a
Eventually,
question, it
like
was
it
a
or not,
statement.
like
Yeah,
it or
it
not,
sounds like he put
eventually,
the stats out there. He
black
said
South Africans,
white South Africans own 20% of the land, the
eventually,
fertile land.
like it or not, the real South Africans are going to take over, you know what I'm saying, what belongs to them. That is
No
facts.
But the
one's saying that
but
they
the
like it
president
or
just
In the
said
not.
next
that,
What's
couple
the
of
point
years,
of
but I
saying that?
guarantee it's going to
and the
happen.
president just said they wouldn't though. They said
Oh,
he
see,
just condemned that. So you just speaking terrorist rhetoric for no reason.
do you do y'all
When
know
the
how close
president
that
is
election
against it.
came the last time?
I think we need to back it up a little bit because like it seems like you're trying to say that we're saying that um they're never going to get their land or something. I just want to make sure we're saying whatever we're saying because everyone agrees that they should get their land back and it's going to happen at some point in time. So I don't understand like why is that a point of contention right now?
I mean, it's really not, but it's just how we keep going back and forth about the situation within the White House. Down. You know what I'm saying, like you know what I'm saying, like the president and stuff like that. All I'm trying to say is like whatever Donald Trump is playing around and stuff like that. He does not give a f about Black South Africans making sure that they what I'm saying, like whatever economy gap to even as much as possible. Donald Trump would never sign for that. Once again, a couple years ago, when this man was a president, he called Africa a shithole.
Because there are shithole countries when
He
they
called
just
So
had
are
Africa a
we
listen,
shithole.
so are
but they
we
had
So hold on. So
in this
so then if he called
in this
Africa a
meeting,
shithole, so
the
he just leave us
president
alone.
thanked Donald Trump for the 150 respirators that Donald Trump sent
So
them
so so
during
so
COVID.
so we are a shithole. So
So
if we
how
are a
does he not
shithole,
care
just
about
leave
them
us
if he
alone.
sent them 150?
Just leave us
Uh,
alone.
what?
bro, black Americans have no control over whatever the fuck the white people do in this
Just leave
country
us
and
alone.
Africa.
If he claims that Africa's a shithole, tell him just leave us alone. I mean,
But
if
you
I
don't
say
even know the
something is a
context that he
shithole,
was
I just leave
speaking
it
of.
alone.
You
That's
going
like
off
me
a
calling a
sound
woman
bite.
a shithole, and then
You
after that, I end up go sleep with her. It makes
but
no goddamn sense.
you going off a sound bite. What if somebody was to clip your sound bite of you tonight talking about Africans should take over and send it to your job, and then you go to jail and you like, no, that was just a sound bite. You didn't even hear the whole context of what I'm saying. Like you're not taking the whole context of whatever he was saying in the moment or what the question that was being asked of him. And I'm pretty sure he probably wasn't even talking about Africa. I'm pretty sure he was talking about countries that was coming into, people from countries that was coming into the United States. Because he makes hyperbolic statements like that a lot.
Yeah,
Okay,
He's not a politician.
and I'm tired of the sooner or later shit too. I mean, you guys already make up most of the population. Just go over there, organize real quick, occupy the land, and just do it how white people do it. You know what I'm saying? Sooner
Yeah,
or
bust out
later,
some
we're gonna
treaties.
get our land back. All right, man. So I'm tired of hearing that shit. Just go ahead and do it already. You got the
Yes, sign
numbers.
some treaties, get y'all documents in order, and y'all can own what y'all want. Buy it
you
out,
see,
sign a treaty, no war, and then you own it, and then everybody respects everybody's rights. If everything about killing this person and taking over that shit, everybody just
hey,
gonna always do that. Like it's
man,
just gonna flip his head on you. Oh, if you can do it, I can do it. But if it's all peace and it's a treaty, then everybody gonna be cool, and
No,
then you
there.
gonna
I
have
don't. I
small.
think, bro, Leroy. I think you're living in a fantasy. There's
Now I
not
live
gonna
in
be
America.
any
I'm
sort of
cool.
No,
I'm
there's not going to be any sort of treaty between the Boers and the Black South Africans. They're coming out of apartheid. They are way more,
Man, apartheid
you
was
know.
30 fucking years ago. How long you gonna be coming out of apartheid? What the
Yeah,
fuck?
but
okay,
Bro,
How
do you
long?
understand that most of the
Mr.
land is owned
Leroy,
by the white folks?
Mr. Leroy,
How long you gonna come out of apartheid? What the fuck?
Mr.
no,
Leroy.
I'm saying I'm highlighting the hate. They have a more higher
Sign the
level of
treaties,
hatred
man. Get the treaties
than
together and get the money together.
man.
Like over
Fuck
here in
all that
America, we
treaty
got all
shit.
these.
They're
They fix it.
racist. What are you talking
Yeah.
about? Treaties. Just go
People gonna
ahead and
always
take them
people gonna
over.
always think that. Like if you just keep your blinders on, you will
Okay,
never see.
so
You'll
here's
never
my
see.
thing. The problem is you could say do a treaty, but the treaty, like right now, the only people who have power are the whites. They own everything.
So the treaty has to do something with land expropriation.
How do
Otherwise, you're going to get people
do
to
the
go
whites
get
have all the
education, come
power?
back, and they're going to
Their
have to work
president,
on land that's owned by the white folks.
their president is literally black. The dude who was saying kill the bulls was literally black. How do they not have power? Like, what the fuck are y'all talking about? Are y'all not
So the
watching this shit
reason,
in real time?
they do have power to do specific things, but my only concern is if they just went off on a genocide, Trump would probably send troops
But why would you go on a fucking genocide? What sense does that make?
because the white people are talking about protecting their land no matter what.
Right. So why?
So if the government goes and takes the
So
land,
kill
they're
them.
going to attack the
You can
government,
buy it.
and then it's going
Like,
to be
how
seen
about
as a
buy it?
genocide
How about you respect their autonomy and buy the shit,
because they
not
don't
fucking
want to
kill them,
sell it.
not fucking kill
It's
them? Like, what the fuck sense does
you.
that make? Like, y'all
You
got
can't
y'all.
force them
I
to
don't
sell
know
their
when y'all
property.
when brains get involved, it's like motherfuckers just go
What
berserk and talk about.
you can't force them to sell the property. They stole the property. They didn't buy it normally. And if I have a mountain that has gold on it, bro, you got to give me trillions of dollars. I don't care about your little economy or the prices that you're talking about. That's the mindset that they're coming from. So that chess move doesn't work.
And I mean this, all of this, like to think this just can be some peaceful thing that just happens and that there's no lives that are going to be lost as a result of taking your land back, I think is ludicrous. And that's why I said you live in a fantasy land. Yes, some people might die whenever you go in there and take your land back. Maybe the US might send troops. Like if you scared, then
But
just say
why do
you
y'all want
scared.
that? You just went over the stats.
If
Only
you scared, then
20%.
just say you scared, bro.
But I'm saying
Like,
you just went over the stats. Use your brain. Think about this critically. You just said the white boars only own 20% of the land. So the other 80% is owned by the government or some other entities. Why the fuck they can't work on that? Why are you crying about the 20% that the white people own?
I
no,
think the
they
land that
own.
they
It's not
Oh God,
20%. They don't own
it's
20%.
This
Where
man
y'all
literally
getting
just
these
went over the
numbers from?
stats. He went into it
Man,
and
they
said
don't
he
own
did a
no goddamn
report on it.
20%, man.
there.
He said he did a
There's
report on it.
it's
See,
viable
listen,
land.
listen,
They
listen,
want
listen.
viable farmland. They own most of the viable land. You can't like that. That's what they want. The land that you can actually do some shit with.
So 20% of all the land is only valuable, and that happens to be the 20% that the white people own.
Yeah, I
They do
didn't look
not
up the
yeah,
own
when they
stats.
20%.
colonized, they
Excel did.
took all the good land just like they did in America.
No, that's not even how it works. This shit is always barren. You have to treat the fucking land for it to be something. Treat it. Just treat the other 80%. Treat it and make it agriculture. You could be able to agriculture it. Like what the fuck? That's how you domesticate land. The land is
Right, that
always
is how you
bullshit
do it,
before you
but
do something
it
with it.
depends on what the land is.
Man, that's what they did in
If it's
Orania. That's what they
desert,
did in the
then they
other white
need some
settlements.
type of
That's what they did in
um.
the other white settlements. It was a fucking factory. They turned
Bro,
Right,
you
factories
don't,
into
right.
if it was
prime
that
farmland.
simple, if it was that simple, they would have already done it. They are
The
fighting
problem
over
is,
this 22% of land for a reason.
Listen,
yeah,
man.
and the problem is, Leroy. Like when you say they could do this, they could do that. I would appreciate it if you could express what countermeasures white people could do in terms of limiting the progress of whatever your solution is as well, and so that we can get like a more in-depth understanding of it and maybe come up with a solution that might make your plan work. It's just that the way you're communicating it right now, it's too general to really pose any significant value.
What agriculture, the 80% land that you do own or that the government does own, I need to get more complex with that. Like
Yeah,
make
you
it.
have to understand how that land works, what it looks like. I don't know enough about the
I
South
mean, they have a
African
black
geography.
president. What's wrong with the black president? He can't allocate the
Yeah, and
land.
that's the point that I said earlier. They need to increase their ability to monitor and look at data and statistics so that they can come up with effective strategies to make the country better.
Yeah, they could do that. Slow down on
Yeah,
the
that's the
crime.
first thing that they need
Make
to do.
people let everybody know that they have inalienable rights, like life matters, like property rights matter. You know what I mean? Like big fences and shit. You don't have to have big fences if people know that property rights matter. Like you have a right to this property and you have a right to that property. So you won't even have to jump gates and breaking people's houses and shit.
Yeah, but the other thing is we don't know how much information they have on their local population. So when we're talking about all those people committing crime that are in poor neighborhoods, do they have any paperwork? Dude, like, are they even South African? So we got to look at these things too to try to figure out what's going on with those populations. And in order for South Africa to do that, they got to get their stats and their data metrics underway.
Yeah, because the president did speak on their border. Said their border is preposterous, something like that. Preposterous. They need to get their border in check, basically. So it could work if they work it. They could, you know what I mean? They make that land. They can make it fertile. They working on something. We made it
I'm
to
gonna
America,
I'm gonna
and
stay quiet for a little bit and try to look up any information to see like why is only 22% of the like why is it that way? Because even though they own 22% of the land, in terms of South Africa, they're still considering that like 90 to 80% of the land. So I'm gonna do research on that real quick, and then I'll come back and let you guys know what that means.
All right, guys, listen, we're going to go ahead and close out. Everyone, thank you so much for joining. Like, share, subscribe. But till next time, family, Dynasty Mirror Search for Hero. Peace.